There's chat here. Hi, it's Mimo Mike Mozart back again. It says I have live chat. It could be because I didn't have enough bandwidth on my phone. I had to move to a different spot in the building I'm at. Let's see how many people pick up and come and join me again. I'm here with the dogs at my new art studio. I'm in a lower part that isn't nearly as exciting to look at. It seems, hey everybody. It's so great to be back. My cam seems to be a little messed up. I don't know if my bandwidth is going to be good enough. And if I go up to my real studio, hey everybody, oh my God, it's so great to see you guys again. Potato Guy, Red Repeat, and Tarzan from one of my early life shows is here. And I'm having trouble because the chat goes by so fast now. You know, I used to call it the chat. The comments are going by very, very, very fast. Yeah, well, there's a whole story about my voice. I'm going to try to get you I'm trying to connect again. I'm sorry. If I'm on Wi-Fi, I have a good signal. If I turn off the Wi-Fi, there's not enough bandwidth to really broadcast with. Yes, I'm back. It's been a while. I have a lot of stories to tell you guys because everyone knows I've been an artist. I've been a professional artist. I'm on Instagram as Mike Mozart for all the people because I was a real artist of Uncle Scrooge McDuck back in the day. Before I started YouTube, I'd been a professional artist even at that point for over 20 years. And I have a lot of stories to tell everybody. Oh yeah, the beard is growing out quite a lot like right now. I really trim it back a little bit. I think I'm looking a little bit on the werewolfy side there. I would love to see if I can get this to work on just the phone's signal alone. We don't have a good phone signal here. We're right in the middle of a big storm here. Can I stop this? Oh, I mean, really, somebody says. Oh, I can. I didn't used to be able to do that. I can actually touch the comments going by and scroll them manually. Hi, Hayden Hamilton. Hi, Big Boy Billy. Oh my gosh. Hi, Davidtron. I guess that's the name. Yep. And nice beard. Thanks. Yeah, my beard's always been pretty big, but that's a lot of stories. If I walk too high up here in my studio, actually the comments disappeared. Here, they're back again. I got to get used to this. I got to figure this out. I have some failed toys up here too. But if I'm concerned if I turn off the Wi-Fi signal in my phone, I might lose the show again. Remember, I'm trying to get this all going again for you guys. I might sit down here and chat. You know, I have a big, beautiful art studio up there. I'll make a video of it and I'll post it. I'm going to be back on YouTube a lot. And what I'm going to do is, Scringy is here. The guy used to help me for years. Hey, Mike.
What?
Bring down the failed toys that I pulled out. The poodle one and the dynamite shack. I'm going to broadcast from that little area that was set up to do the bigger paintings because that would work nice and it's lit up nice there. A lot of stories going on here, guys. A lot of stories. I just moved my art studio to a great art studio, but I can't really show it because it's up there. And this lower part is not as worked on. I moved into this old building that needed a lot of work, and here I am. Here. Well, it's still pretty light brown. It's just that there's no light here. If I put some light on, you'll see it looks pretty much like it always has. Hold on. Hold on. There's one light. Oh, look at that. Let there be light. Here's another one. See? Look, it's Scringy to the rescue here.
Yeah.
That's the lower part of my art studio.
I know, it just sucks. What are you gonna do? Just sit here?
No, I should be fine sitting here. It says orientation is locked. Rotate device back. I guess it's saying it's not, the orientation is wrong, but it's correct. I am having technical difficulties. My first time here, and I got this thing blocking my screen. Orientation locked. Rotate device back. Ah, there it works. Oh, and see my beard is light brown. See, told you guys. Hold on a second. This jacket's a little hot. Mike, why don't you hold this so I can see my jacket? Here.
What? I can't see.
Back. No, turn it. It's face. It's on the portrait.
What is there one that?
It's facing you right now.
Okay,
well, it turns around, but don't do it because you might shut off the show.
It didn't shut off the show. There.
Look, guys.
Oh yeah, go ahead, flex your muscles. Oh yeah. Oh. Aren't you awesome? You're the best. Okay, good. Here.
How about that?
Okay, good. That's fucking beautiful.
So I just needed someone here to help me do a show here. Let me turn this around.
Down the bottom.
Well, this is brand new here. See? Now I look like Mike Mozart again. with my Santa beard. It grows really, really fast. Let me see all these people going by. I want to say hi, people. April Showers. DP Cool Dude. Scringy, long time no see.
Yeah, man.
Tell me your Nick Infantante. That he was, I think he had a baby when we were doing our live shows. Michael Moran. Look at this. Owen Concord. Did you bring down the Phil toys when you came down?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, agree with the Phil toys. I got Phil toys.
Don't step in all that right there.
No, I know.
Don't
I'm avoiding it. Just go upstairs.
You're stepping on it.
I'm not stepping
Sure.
on it. How's it going,
You
everybody?
can do right here in this little area.
Yeah, well, we got to figure out some way to make this work here
I can't
because
believe your phone won't pick it up. Won't run over data.
what? No, it's not that. I'm in Connecticut, and right now we've had a major.
Nothing to do with the fucking storm.
We had a major storm here, and the major storm is still going on outside right now.
Fucking storm. The storm's over.
And the big storm's going up. Let me see this one. I'm trying to see the comments as they go by because there's so many. Yeah. Now, Nick used to be one of my mods here on Blog TV. I know, isn't this great? Thank you for thinking I'm the best. Ghostly host. Rachel F5 was one of my very favorite longtime mods and watchers of my live shows I did years ago. Now, there's a lot about me that you guys haven't known over the years, and I'm going to try to tell you some. It's hard for you to tell, but I've lost a lot of weight. I'm really thin compared to what I used to be. I mean, see, I lost a lot of weight, and it rejuvenated me in a lot of ways. Now, I'm going to try to tell you something. I'm going to tell you all kinds of things that nobody knows about me after all these years. Isn't that something? Yeah, it's raining here like crazy in Connecticut. When I was young, was a different person. Anyone that watched me on my live shows, they remember me always talking about, Mike, you're such a cool guy, right? I wish I knew you were young. No, when I was young, I was a different person. I was a totally different person. I used to be very thin. I was sort of a slender guy. I'm very thin now. And, but I had very high testosterone. I had extremely high testosterone, hence this giant beard. When I was 13 years old, I grew this beard, and it's sort of short right now for me. I mean, this is actually short. Sorry, I should have combed it out and fixed it up a little bit for you guys, so it wasn't too scary. And, but people that watched my live show knew that years ago, I talked about doing cartoon character voices for years. I'd done cartoon character voices and TV commercial voices for a decade, back in the late 1970s into the 1980s. And I did them as late as 2006. About 2006 was the last time I was doing that. When I was doing cartoon character voices, it was nothing. Nobody cared about it. It was not a big deal. As a matter of fact, if a guy walked into a bar and said, "Hey, I do cartoon character voices. I'm an Inspector Gadget," they'd look at you like, "Get away from me, weirdo." That's the way it used to be years ago. Nobody cared about voices. But when I was young and had very high testosterone, which I have again, I have the same thing I had as a kid, I had a very deep voice, very unusual voice. And it's not really as deep as it should be right now even. It's amazing. I'm old, by the way. I am older than people have thought. I'm 60. I'm 60 years old. And I've been older than people have thought on YouTube for years. And I turned 60 this year. And I think I look pretty well preserved for 60. Most people think I'm 40 when they meet me in real life. And let's see what people are saying. Oh my God, I wish I could say hi to every single person going by here. I will say hi to as many of those as I can when they go by. So when I was a kid, this beard grew out when I was 13 years old. And it was remarkable. But not many 13-year-olds have a great big beard. I grew it out big too because it was sort of fun for a little kid to have a big beard. And my voice was very, very deep at the time. And I wasn't doing voices yet, but it was just what I looked like and what I was. And I started doing cartoon character voices. Wow, wouldn't you like to hear my life story? I have a documentary being filmed on my life right now. There's going to be quite a documentary made about everything I've done in my life. And the best, coolest stuff about my life happened before I ever started YouTube. And now they are interviewing people that knew me back in the day when I was a child, all the way up when I lived in Maine in the summers with a grandmother up there and on a farm. And I had a very exciting life. I had a really exciting life. And I didn't really realize that it would mean a lot to people, for everything I'd done. And when I was doing the voice acting, it wasn't called voice acting. This was called voiceovers. It was nothing. I cannot tell you how uninterested people were in people that did voiceovers in the 70s and 80s. It was nothing. 1970s, 1980s. I am old. I was an adult in the 1970s. I'm not old. And I had some really great opportunities that now seem kind of cool. And I am going to say something because people are asking, and I can force my voice to be more like it used to be. Let me try it. This is Mimo, Mike Mozart, back again with the coolest products of yesterday and today. And today I have the amazing, which I don't have any yet. Scringy's getting me some. So I can force my voice higher because I used to do voiceovers. Isn't that funny to hear that? It's the first time I tried to be Mike Mozart YouTube in all those years. My God, that's the first time that I have tried doing that in all these years. 7 years, by the way. 7 years. I have lost, I was on keto diet, and I lost a lot of weight. I went down to 142 pounds. I'm not 142 now. What I decided, it was 142 pounds for a couple of years. About 142, 144. And no one recognized me. There wasn't a person I met on the street. My voice returned to its original deep voice. I looked thin, I looked a lot younger and different, and no one recognized me. So what I did is I decided I put some weight back on because there were a lot of photos of me in the course of losing weight. And I thought that people kind of liked the way I looked at about 165. So I'm about 160, 165 right now. And I look like Mike Mimo. I look like Mike Mozart, pretty much. My beard isn't cut the way it was at the time. But wow, this is so cool, all these people are here. But something that is very interesting is my voiceovers I did for years. And I did some that are kind of remarkable. And it is...
Can't look too far out of the light there.
No, I'm walking out of the light. I'm just pacing back and forth a little bit, just for myself. I figure if I walk more towards the light, that would illuminate my face a little bit better.
Walk towards the light.
My face is actually quite thin. I'm letting my beard grow out more to make my face wider, like it used to be. I had a big, wide, round face. Now my face is actually kind of skinny, like it was when I was a kid. So I want to make sure that you all know what I look like again. Oh, thank you, all you, for stopping by here. It really makes a difference. Don't walk towards the light, not yet. My show isn't over. So I'm going to start. I want to tell you some of the things I've been through in my life. It's been quite a busy life here. I have a lot of failed toys. I just moved my art studio to this great new building. And I will go back, Duck Dynasty, Mike, oh my God. My beard was so young when I was 13 and 14 years old, it was amazing. I had the most big beard. I have to put my coat, I'm going to take this coat off. Hold on, I'm putting the phone down for a second. You have to look at an old ceiling in an 1850s factory. Oh my gosh. Look at all the people going by here. I wish I could just say hi to every single one by name, but the comments are blazing by here so fast. And I intend to be back a lot more. You're going to see me a lot more because basically one of the things is there's a documentary being made on me. And I need to test things with people out there in YouTube land and people that have known me online. Because you guys haven't known anything about me. Everything I have done in my life that you've seen or heard on Blog TV and all those places, everything starts around 2005 approximately. Nothing preceding that. I mentioned I did voiceovers. I mentioned I did kids' books and things, but nothing else. And I had an there's a lot more failed toys. Here's a couple of failed toys. When I moved my studio, I found a whole bunch of them. This probably exists as a review already, but I have a huge collection. This is Penny the Poodle. Penny the Poodle by Marx. This is the biggest nightmare fuel toy in the history of toys. It is so scary. I'm going to flip the camera around. Let me see if I can flip this camera around so you can see it. There's a commercial for it. Penny the Poodle. Just Google Penny. I'm going YouTube. Penny the Poodle by Marx. And you will see this mint in box Penny the Poodle. And it is pure, horrifying nightmare fuel. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Hi, Tsukimi. Hi, DP Cool Dude. Oh my God. Joe Huranen is here. I hope I'm saying your names right. Count Chonkula is here. Yes, designed M&M's merchandise. They did a lot of it. I'm going to try walking upstairs to my big studio where I do most of my painting shortly. I might have to redo this show to make it a little easier to do that walk up there so you can see it. A lot of what I'm going to do is I'm going to start telling people a lot about what I did before 2005. And it's nothing bad, but I want to sort of prepare the world because a documentary is coming out of my life and people are going to say, what? You did what? You went where? You had this experience? You had this incredible life? Yeah. You guys, I'm sure have seen that commercial of the Dos Equis guy on TV commercials. You know, the guy that drinks the beer? I am the most interesting man in the world. Dos Equis. You know that guy? So it's something, yeah, my beard isn't combed out. I should have fixed it up before I went live. It gets really big. It's sort of gone up my cheeks. It sort of escapes like a wild animal, and it's sort of in wild animal mode right now. Yeah, there's 3 dogs here. You'll see the 3 dogs here soon too. Yes, I have all of the toys I ever reviewed. All the toys I ever personally reviewed are in this building. And they're all here. Including What's Up, What Up, I think it's What's Up Elmo. The one where he says what day of the week it is. And remember, one day a week, Elmo talks about nothing. It's a plush. He talks about nothing but fish. One day he talks about nothing but birds. One day he talks about nothing but balls. And we used to play him every day because one in every 7 days he would talk only about balls for Balls Day. Hey, and here's one of the doggies here. So I can turn the camera on. Here's one of the doggies. See? Probably another one here coming. Here's another one. You know how much I love black labs here. Yeah, so these are, I have the crazy doll. I have everything here. How did you become a toy collector? I'm so happy to hear about this, Athena. Yeah, I have been, it's so great to see everyone here, as a matter of fact. Well, a lot of you probably have seen a video about me on YouTube. It's a good one. It's not a bad thing. Except that boy, I have a story about that video. Is Super Carlin Brothers and Big Yellow Taxi, one of those, I think a channel is called that, did an interview with me about what happened to Andy's dad. You remember that, guys? What happened to Andy's dad? And the initial take from what's that guy's name? Like Ed Stanton, the head of Pixar, actually tweeted out, fake news, go home. It's not how it happened. Oh yeah, it's how it happened. And he is going to be, everyone's going to be kind of surprised at just how that's progressing. It's great. It's absolutely great. As it turned out, I was the only person that knew what had happened to Andy's dad before Toy Story 1. So that's going to be turning into something kind of interesting. I will be doing live art streams again, probably here on YouTube, at least to start. I have, look at all these great people. Aaron W. subscribed to me when he was in 8th grade. And here I am back again after all this time. And you have to forgive me too. I've been so busy here. It's been an awful lot to do. Hi, Jacques Landry. Yeah, bonjour. Comment ça va au Canada? We're having a lot of rain here. It pleuve all day today. I'm trying to read all the comments going by here. Will you try the Halloween candy again? Yes, that's one of the reasons I'm on, because the Halloween candy is appearing in the stores, and I'm going to be reviewing all the weird Halloween candies again. I don't have the cool props anymore. I moved my art studio to this great new art studio, but I didn't have a lot of room for everything. I don't want to take everything along. You know, if you Google search, like Google Mike Mozart, the #1 autofill is Mike Mozart dead. So I thought maybe I should tell people I'm actually alive. Yeah, so so this is your comeback show here. I'm more settled into the new building. You get a good look at me. It's hard to tell. I've lost a lot of weight. And I purposely put back on about 20 pounds or 30 pounds so I look more like me. But man, I felt good when I was like 142, 144. I thought I felt pretty good. But nobody knew who I was. It's amazing. Nobody recognized me on the street. I'm going to clean my lens here. Hold on. Yeah, my lens was a little dirty. That's a little bit better. Yeah, so I have a lot of stories. And I'm going to start filling in all the cool stories that have happened to me since I was a young kid. Okay? And I'm going to be doing live again here. And where's Scringy been? He comes and goes like the wind. He went to actually Montreal, Canada for a while. He was up there for a while. He moved to Florida for a while. He did everything. But just before the pandemic happened, he moved back to Connecticut and says, Hey, I need a job. So, yep. So I gave him a job again after all these years. And he helped me move to the new studio, and he's been helping me fix up this place, which required a lot of work. And it's dripping quite a lot. There's a lot of buckets here. Let me show you. A lot of water here. Here, hold on a second. Let me turn this around. Remember, this is all new for me, how these controls work. Yeah, so it's a great place, but it drips a lot. A lot of water dripping in this place. But the dogs like it. See the doggies? Look at that. Aren't they sweet? This is an old building here. Did he leave for a woman again? Of course he did errand camped. What do you think he left for? That's all he does. Scringy has, his whole life is ruled by who's the cute girl he can go visit or move with or something. And he always does, but he always sort of winds it back. Oh, hey, the ultimate. Oh, it went by so fast. The ultimate idiot. Hi. Oh, don't cry. How many classic YouTubers are making returns one way or another? Yeah, I guess they're starting to come back a little bit. Now, let me tell you some more about my voice acting. And I'm going to be putting up a YouTube video about it. You're all going to be quite thrilled. I started doing that when I was quite young, probably when I was about 17 years old, 18. There was a company in Stamford, Connecticut that had started bringing in imported cartoons from Japan, South Korea, overseas to dub them into English. And here I am, this kid designing toy products and licensed products for those shows before they were ever premiered. And they noticed I had an unusual voice for a kid that was young, big beard and this unusual voice. About that time, I cut my beard off for a little while, which you'll all be quite surprised about too. Oh my God, you're gonna hear the whole story about the whole beard thing. I wish I'd fix it up a little bit so I don't look so shaggy right now. So yeah, so I did voiceovers for a lot of the imported Japanese, Japanimation things that were coming in the late 1970s, early 80s. And I never did any starring voices. I always did what was called ancillary voices. I was the guy that would fill in, the taxi driver or the shopper in a store or the person they would ask directions, how do you get to Hunter City? And I'd say, it's over that way. Or I'd be the Decepticon messenger. Bow before the Decepticons type thing. That actually wasn't a dubbed-in show. That was actually filmed. Transformers actually was an original show by Hasbro at the time. It was one of the few original shows I did anything on. Isn't it funny, no? Early on, yes, I did it in a lot of these old things, and I have my old contracts, my original contracts, and some of the recording sessions. So they used to be on this old archaic system called carts. They're like one-track tapes, and you would record them into these, and they would put the cartoon up on a big screen, and you'd have to dub it over. Original animation, you had to sit in a little booth and record it beforehand, and you'd read it into the camera until the director liked it. So you would read it, and it'd say, "Okay, do it again, but make it a little deeper. Do it again. Don't sound so much like a person. Do it again. You sound too much like a robot there," or something. And I would do that and got paid a lot of money for doing almost nothing. I was like, wow, this is great, money for nothing. And it started becoming problematic for me. And what happened is I wasn't in any unions. I was not a union person. And in the late 70s, early 80s, going into the 80s, a lot of voice talent started becoming unionized. And up until that point, it wasn't. It was like radio voiceovers. And they started getting rights. They started the Screen Actors Guild. And I actually had to get Screen Actor credits in order to join the Screen Actors Guild. I got the credits, but I never joined because I got too busy in my product design life and everything. I got so busy with my life, I never continued it. And I only did it occasionally as it went along. The few things, at the Screen Actors Guild at the time. And it was crazy. Now, what had happened is there came a time, and you'll see credits at the ends of these cartoon series, where it'll say like the lead voices of the lead people. But you'll see additional voices, and there'll be like 1,000 voices listed. Have you ever seen like 1,000 voices listed at the ends of those? It's like there's only like 10 people talking in there. How come there's like 70 people listed here? Because there were work for hire little things, work for hire agreement things that were outside the contract range. And they all pushed me. The people that liked me said, you gotta get a real contract because we're gonna get in big trouble. Because I started doing TV commercials, and I did some of the stupidest, goofy things that caused a lot of problems in the industry that you guys out there probably remember. And I was what happened initially is I was getting mistaken for the voice talent guy, Thurl Ravenscroft, who did Tony the Tiger. You know, Tony the Tiger guy. And at 17, I had this incredible deep voice. And it's coming back, too. It's coming back bit by bit. It's really something. So, I'm actually good. Yeah, somebody mentions NFTs. I am going to be selling some NFTs, but I'm not doing a whole bunch of them. I'm just doing a small run. Don't worry about it. I'm not trying to cash in with NFTs, but I just want to do some to say I did them. But when I did them, I'll tell people about it. Yeah, there'll be more Mike Dozarts, and I'll make more of those things. So when I was doing these voiceovers, I would go to this production company in Stamford, Connecticut, and they'd give me a list of things to say. And they'd give me what the item was, you know, what they called the item, the piece I would have to say. And a lot of them were ancillary voices where you're an elevator in Inspector Gadget or something. And I go, step away from the door. That was it. In that episode. I have all my contracts. I have all my contracts. I have all my work for hire agreements. I have everything for every last stuff I did. I don't have all the recordings, but it actually says what episodes I was in, what words I said at what point. Because I just signed a work for hire agreement assigning them the rights to the material I did. That is the most golden thing. I have all that stuff. When I moved, I found all of my original contracts and a bunch of the original recordings I did at the time on carts. And I don't have many. I probably have 18 carts. But wow, that is really something. The stuff that did get saved accidentally in the course of all this. I need to get a new cart reader, which I haven't done. I'll have to get one off of YouTube. I still have the toys. There's plenty of toys here for all the people interested. But I did, until I actually post this stuff, I don't know exactly how much to say. You see, remember, I still had this problem that I wasn't a union person. But I did non-union. I did stuff that union people should have done. Mostly because these people were under tight deadlines and they needed somebody to do this bit for whatever piece it was. And some of them are kind of interesting. I gotta sit down here. The first thing that's interesting is, I don't want to keep going on the voice talents because I got so many things to tell you about everything else I did in my life, but I thought everyone would be very interested in this. And there's going to be more live painting and there's going to be more toy reviews because in the course of the move, I found tons of my old toys. Tons of my Boys Wanted reviews. So you're going to get to see them again. 7, 8, now you're 22. Oh my God. You know, the best way to, I am on Instagram with my paintings. Mike Mozart. I've been on Instagram for forever, but I've been doing my paintings and I'm sort of famous for paintings now because I turned out to be a Dr. Frankenstein. And my monster is this guy named Alec Monopoly, who's an artist. I've helped a lot of artists, but he became my Frankenstein's monster. And unfortunately, I went public on him because of the bad things that happened with me helping him. So I'll tell you more about those stories too. They're going to be in the documentary that's being made on me anyway, because it helped a lot more artists that are a lot more famous even than Alec Monopoly. That's a pretty big thing. I would say, you know, my voice isn't quite right because I'm 60 now. I'm old. When you get older, your voice tends to go up in pitch. You ever hear little old men in the cartoons? You get off my lawn, you kids! Go away! Because men, when they get older, their voice pitch goes up. It's just what happens. Except when I lost weight, I went back to mostly my original voice for the last few years, and there were a few interesting things that I did back because of that. One of them is there's a Play World commercial. There is a commercial, you'll see it on YouTube, for a toy chain that no longer exists called Play World. That is the first thing that's interesting because that thing kind of led into a huge life for me. Play World was a big toy store chain like Toys R Us back in the day. It was owned by the Lionel Train people. And it failed like a lot of other things did, and probably around 1985, whenever it failed. But I did the voice at the end of the commercials. And there was somebody that sang it like this for kids. Play World, a world of toys. These commercials are on YouTube. Play World, a world of toys, great for you. boys, girls, and great for boys. Play world where prices go. And I did the last part. So low, 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 low. Play world. I was on hundreds of commercials for years with that stupid commercial. And no one ever knew who did that commercial. If you look online, people think it was Thurl Ravenscroft that did that bit at the end. It wasn't. It was me. And it was because of that. That I got a lot of other similar work where people were looking for like a Thurl Ravenscroft person to do these toy things. And I hate to admit this, and I'm going to put it out there, is Kellogg's is somebody I did a lot of work for children's packaging for products. I did a couple of commercials as Tony the Tiger back in the day, even though Thurl Ravenscroft was already contracted to do that character. And that's one of the problems I've had, is that it sort of made me feel bad because I didn't realize just what I was doing at the time. You go to some company, hey, do you want to do this? Here's a list of things you need to do today. You sound like Tony the Tiger. Would you do this thing? Yeah, okay. I didn't know it would get me in trouble in a Screen Actors Guild kind of way. I didn't get any trouble at the time because I never continued forward with it. But man, if I continued forward with it, I'd been the king of every single Comic-Con. Because when I was doing those things, nobody cared, and now they all care. And a lot of the things too that I did were samples where I worked with companies, and I would do what was called the comp voiceovers for things. Remember you? It's Ian Sweeney. Yes, I remember you. Oh my gosh, hi! It's so good to see you. Oh my gosh. That's one of my longtime fans is here from the old live shows. So I'm going to be live a lot more. I'm going to try to be live a lot more. I don't have any Lionel trains in my collection. I did work for the company. I still have some of the catalogs from the company that I got. And, hi, Duke. There's just come in the room. And you're going to see a lot more of me. But one of the things I'm going to do is try to fill you in on what my life was like before YouTube. Before YouTube. I didn't start YouTube until I was 40-something years old. I was in my 40s when I did all those YouTube videos. And it was a time in my life where I gained a lot of weight at that time, which was unusual for me. But up till that time, and people are saying, oh, you were my childhood, Mr. Mozart. I was your childhood more than you think. I designed and created hundreds and hundreds of children's toys. Some of them incredibly famous that you all had. Scringy is here. I'm going to call up to him because the Wi-Fi isn't reaching up to the new studio area where I'm doing most of my painting. And I don't want to try to depend on my cell phone signal because it's not too strong. I'd like to show you something that you'll all remember. Here, the dogs are all running around here too. Would you get the Crayola Magic Watercolor set that's up there behind my desk? Because that's something everyone will see. And the box of Bendaroos. I'm going to show you some products I designed and created that you guys will probably have remembered having as a child. I worked on Ninja Turtle toys before it even came out as a cartoon. I was working on I did lots of arts and crafts products. I went all over the world. I went to Walmart, Kmart, Target, CVS, Rite Aid, Toys R Us. I was in all the buyers' offices creating products. And a lot of those products you had. I mean, a lot. And I really want for everyone to see this stuff because I'm going to be, somebody mentioned Scooby-Doo toys. I used to talk to Casey Kasem. Does anyone know who Casey Kasem is? One of my first calls to Casey Kasem when I was doing the character voices. So I was really thinking about going into that field. If I had, you would have never known me from YouTube. You would have known me for all different reasons here. So let me show you one of the things I did. And it was so funny. I said, wow, this is in the late 70s. Wow, people don't care about people to do cartoon character voices, huh? He says, yeah, it doesn't get you laid as often as you think. I'll never forget him saying that to me on the phone. But here, I was a creator of this rainbow watercolor set. This is mine. A lot of people had this watercolor set. Use these little foam brushes and they paint rainbows. If anybody ever had one of these sets, I used to sell these on QVC Home Shopping Network, infomercials. They were in all the toy stores. This was like one of the top toys of the year. And I never told people a lot of these things that I did make at the time. Something else is I had an infomercial that you guys have probably seen because you're all about the right age. There was a product line I did called Bendaroos. And the commercial, sorry, it looks like it's backwards. They're like waxy strings. It'd be Bendaroos, the waxy, amazing, silly string that you can build and shape and do all these things with. I was just all thinking I was an infomercial pitch person. Guys, I was the guy that used to be on infomercials right at the same time Billy Mays was. Most of my infomercials don't survive online, and I haven't posted them because I don't want to be known for that. But all my infomercials stopped around 1996, 1999, way before they had live streaming or videos on YouTube or anything like that. And I'm going to start posting them. You're going to get to see Mike Mozart selling these products and a lot more. I'm the inventor of Bendaroos. I invented Bendaroos. I invented the multi-watercolors. I'm the actual inventor, creator of those things. And tons more toys that you've all had. But wait, there's more. If you buy now, I used to appear on QVC and the Home Shopping Network. I'm gonna put up videos of myself on QVC, Home Shopping Network, and the Shopping Channel in Canada in the 1990s. I was a major pitch person. I was on all the time on those channels, pitching things. I was on the morning show on QVC with Pat and Dan. I mostly saw Scringy is here. People in the background going, Scringy, Zathina is here, Mike. Remember Zathina?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, she's here. She wants to see Scringy. She's going, Scringy. He appeared in a lot of my Play-Doh videos, notably the clown, where he smashes the clown with a hammer. The clown Play-Doh video, he's in the Chomp and Chew Diner one. We both doing those fake voices.
Clowns are creepy. They need to be destroyed.
Yeah, and if you think now think back about this, think when I did my toy reviews. When I did my toy reviews, I would pick up a toy. Here's Cringy. There he is.
What?
There he is. Same personality.
Yeah.
Still smokes. Still likes the dogs.
This is my big boy right here.
Yep. The big dog is his. Big boy. Yeah, remember when we smashed the computer? Yeah, that's him. The Punisher. He was in the Punisher video. Oh, they remember you so much. Look at this.
Well, I had to smash that CD player.
SpongeBob Tampax. Yep. Scringy. They're all going, yeah. So they're saying, smoke them if you got them. That's what you did in the one with the clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so different. So Scringy. So people, destructive Scringy, they're saying.
Yeah. Well,
The clown and the hammer. He's the hammer guy. Yeah, he was something, huh? He really destroyed a lot of that
clowns
stuff.
are creepy. They need to be destroyed.
Yeah, so, but do you remember I used to do cartoon character voices? Remember all those Play-Doh videos? I'd be,
Mongo.
I would always make the voice. I'm just making a fake voice. Because I did cartoon character voices for years. Before YouTube, I did lots of them. But I did ancillary characters. I never did a lead character. And one of the problems is I turned down most of them or wouldn't do them because they wanted me to do the voiceover for black men. My voice was very, very deep. And it's even deeper than it is now. And it did sound black, I must say. And I always said, I won't do a black person's voice when there's so many black artists and actors out here that could really use the work. And they'd say, well, no television station down south will run it if we have a real black person do a black cartoon character's voice. And that went through up until recently. Guys, that is what happened in a lot of this. Even the voice of Cleveland on Family Guy, until recently, was a white person. I mean, I'm telling you, back then, so I had the perfect voice because I had this deep voice and I could do a nice voice. And they would say, we want you to do this. I won't do it. I won't do it. And I never did, ever. And I started doing more and more toys. I started getting away from that work and doing toys, which I really like to do. I started traveling a lot to China. I started doing now when everyone's asking me the animes, I'm going to publish my scripts that I went from. I never did a lead character in anything, and I am only credited in a few, but not as Mike Mozart, because I was sort of embarrassed that I was doing them. What happened is it wasn't a big deal. In 1977, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, if you did cartoon character voices, it was an embarrassment to your family. And they would shun you and want to bury you out in the yard. You can't do cartoon character voices. That isn't a career. That isn't anything you should be doing. And I could have done all of it I wanted and I didn't. The only thing that I should have done, and I didn't, is I was doing a lot of tests for different kinds of things. And I tested for the voice of Apache Chief They were going to bring back Apache Chief. And I didn't feel comfortable doing it because Apache Chief in the cartoons was very bigoted the way he sounded, very racist. Oh, Apache Chief, I will grow tall and save you, all that.
Sound very dumb.
It sounded dumb. And the reason I might have done it, and I considered it, is I'm 25% American Indian on my mother's side. My mother's half American Indian. That's why I have American Indian eyes. I'm going to take my glasses off here. If you look at my eyes, the way my eyelids are, they droop on the sides. They cover my top eyelids. They almost look Asian. I have like Asian eyes. And the reason I sound different is I lost a lot of weight. And if you have a lot of testosterone, any man that has testosterone, you can see I've always had a lot of it, judging by the beards I've had, is that it affects your voice a lot. But if you put on a lot of weight, your body isn't making any more testosterone than it was. So if you weigh 150 pounds, which I always did.
So the weight ratio to testosterone.
So the weight to testosterone level starts getting screwed up. So you put on 200 pounds, your testosterone level drops. I still had the big beard, but I had a different voice. Now my voice is more or less back. And I mean, it actually is lower than this normally. Man, the lighting here sucks. My beard looks awful.
I know this
I was gonna do this. And I would say the easiest way to lose weight is the keto diet. The keto diet is the quickest, easiest, fail-safe way. I can tell everyone how to lose weight on the keto diet. But it's kind of dangerous too. It's a dangerous diet, and they don't tell you that. And I'll tell you why. Now, somebody says the radio legend. It's so funny you said that because I did radio, commercial radio. When I was in college, I was on the college radio station. There's a reason I was on college radio. Is that to get free concert tickets.
It's because it got you weighed a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Mike's known me for a long time.
That's the other reason.
If you were on, and my voice was perfect for college radio. And I'd be on at night, especially I'd be on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I'd be like this.
Oh, Jesus, here we go. I'm
Yeah, you remembered me. And I'd say, I'm here alone at the station tonight, Be nice if I had some visitor come by. I've got a sore shoulder. And I would have girls come over to the station.
3 guys show up.
No, that's a whole bad story there. Well, it's funny, embarrassing. I've got so many stories to tell you guys. So, so I was on college radio, but then I was on Connecticut commercial radio. I was on the largest market radio station in the mornings whenever I had time on HCN Hartford, which was the big station. Our competitor was Howard Stern. I was broadcasting opposite Howard Stern. And when Howard Stern was in Connecticut, he started on Connecticut radio. And it was, how long have you known Scringy? I met him at my wife's 5th year class reunion. It was so funny because we met him there and he mentioned, I need a job. I said, oh, good, I'm hiring. I'll hire you. I didn't know resume or anything. Okay. And he's worked on and off for me for about 40 years since then. I remember I'm 60. I'm old. I'm old. Who's Howard Stern, somebody puts? Oh, my God. When I was in Connecticut, he was the competition station, and his radio show opened like this. HOWARD-STERN, Howard Stern. Who's the guy you want your daughter to marry? Howard Stern. Who's the guy you want to send all your money to? Howard Stern. That's how his show started, I swear to God. I don't know if if that's on YouTube, but that's how it worked. And it was so funny. It was right opposite me. Oh, my God. So there's a lot more I want to tell you. There's a whole lot I would really like to tell you about. And there's a lot. I mean, I've had quite a life here. And do I have kids? Yeah. I got a bunch of kids. And that's a whole developing story, too. Let's just say that I have all boys. How about that? I have kids. And again, it's not a bad story, but it's interesting. Let's see what people are saying. Oh my gosh. Hi, OG Slender PG. I got the most, thank you so much. A person is in this room. We showed up here. And what happened is he is someone I have followed on Pokemon Go. I still play Pokemon Go. I'm one of the people that still plays Pokemon Go every day. And the only reason I do it is I'll have to take a walk anyway. And I play it. I like playing Pokemon Go. And he bought me a ticket. On Pokemon Go, you can give people gifts and passes That's you can actually have to buy it. He actually got me a pass for one of the special events that happened, so you get the special Pokemon here. So I really thank you for that. It was really appreciated. And I am going to bring back everything. I have all the toys. Scringy is back around. Unfortunately, Cocoa Puff has passed away. The dog that appeared at the end of my videos for years. She lived a good long life though. Hey Mike, how old was Cocoa Puff? He's on the other part of this. This is a big building here. Probably she lived to be about 15. That's old for a black lab. But I have 3 new black labs. Well, one of them's Scringy's. Scringy's is the big boy one. But yeah, I love big dogs. I love black labs. They're so nice. And again, more things are coming, and I'm going to start telling you about my life. And I had quite a life. I traveled all over the world. I'm looking at all these comments go by, and they're going by so fast about the reviews. I still have everything here too. I still have all the toys. I'm going to start telling you about my incredible life, mostly because I have a documentary coming out, and it's being done by a professional company, and it's going to be on a major streaming service. And I never thought that my life was as interesting as people seem to think it was. But my life before YouTube, my life before I was 30 seems to be the most exciting life, and people are all very excited about chronicling it and making documentaries about it. And I was a professional artist even at the time. I would like to, it's just something now. I'm looking at all the names going by and just so happy to see everybody again. And it's like I never left, huh? It's like I never left. Same guy, a lot thinner than I was. No, a lot happier, a lot healthier. I'm a lot older than people think, but I still think I look pretty good for my age. See, I don't look old and dead or anything. Not yet, anyway. Oh, so just some other interesting things. I had COVID 4 times. I never got sick from them. 4 times. And early on, it was discovered that I had COVID just as the first outbreak happened. I must have had it at one time because I had the antibodies, and I was one of the people that contributed convalescent plasma to people before there were vaccines or any treatments for people that were really sick, because they noticed that I had the antibodies for it early on. That's a whole nother story that's kind of exciting. And I've had the other ones, and the only reason I've known them is because I've tested positive but never showed any symptoms. I was so I'm looking at the people. Hey, Tweeter Man, there's another one of my longtime fans here too. Oh my God, a lot of people from my live streaming shows are here. Yeah, so COVID 4 times. And you can get it multiple times. And just so everyone knows, I have been vaccinated 3 times. I have had 2 Moderna vaccines for the, mine are the Moderna, but I had a test one before that. AstraZeneca was going to release a vaccine here, and I was in a study to release it. And I had the vaccine, didn't affect me at all, but it was never released here, the one I'd gotten. And I have had 4 boosters. And mostly I have 4 boosters, not for any reason other than I'm someone in university studies about my immunity, my unique immunity, and that's a whole nother story, which you'll be thrilled about. That is a great seeing Tweeter Man here. That was really nice to see that back. The real Tweeter Man. Oh my God. So I am going to be back a lot. I've got the toys. I am going to be telling you about my incredible life because this documentary is going to be something. And there are a lot of things I'm trying to get out to my fans, the people that have followed me for years and loved me, endured me, and everything else. And a lot of it isn't. I know. Someone says it's hard to recognize you. A lot of people, if you had seen me about 6 months ago, you wouldn't recognize me. No one would recognize me. I was thin, but I was healthy, but I was just really thin. Didn't look like my old self. My voice was a hell of a lot deeper when I was thin. Oh my God, it was like the old days, having a super thin voice, super low voice. It was very, very, very low. And I'm going to put up some videos showing what I did in the past, because a lot of times pass. I think it's okay. Nothing really bad, but stuff that would have gotten me in trouble years ago with Screen Actors Guild and the voiceovers I was doing. And it was at a time, it was like the Wild West for voiceovers. It was a time when TV commercials and animation and imported cartoons started flowing into the United States like a water spigot. and they were all in the wrong language, and they all had to be dubbed, and someone had to be there to dub them. And there weren't a lot of people in that business at the time, and I filled in so much stuff, and I covered for other people. So my voice is incorrectly credited in major cartoons at times because the original talent wasn't available, and mine was good enough so that no one noticed. So I have all my original contracts. I have all my original work for hire agreements for the days I worked and did this for like 20 years. You know, it was like 18 years I did this on and off when I had time. And I did them for thousands of imported cartoons, features, all kinds of stuff. Saturday morning cartoons that were dubbed, a lot of syndicated stuff that was dubbed, like Battle of the Planets, anything that came in from Japan that was dubbed here. I did so many of these stupid ancillary voices. There was this thing that happened is that they passed this regulation that if somebody was like a lead actor in an animated cartoon and they did another voice, even one word of it, if they did a voice for one other character, even one word, they got paid the entire amount all over again. That was one of the problems because they couldn't get someone like that did Yogi Bear to do another character, like a strange animal, like a rabbit walks by and says, "Hi, Yogi," or something. And so I did that. I did a lot of those, but I also did what was called comp voices, where they would be doing animation or something, and they'd need someone to do a voice, and I did the comp voices. And here you're gonna hear some of the things. You're gonna hear some of the things my Mozart did back in the day. Remember, this was 40 years ago when Ranger Smith and Jellystone Park was. There was commercials made for Denny's. Denny's restaurants licensed the Flintstones back probably in the early 1990s. I did a lot of work on placemats and things. I didn't do anything for those TV commercials, but they licensed Yogi Bear and did a test run of it. And they didn't want to get the original voice talent. Whoever, there was at a time when Hanna-Barbera was going through a lot of problems. Early 1990s, Hanna-Barbera was like falling apart. And the license for it. They said, "Mike, how good can you do Yogi Bear?" "I think I could do Yogi Bear." And they gave me the scripts and I did them all. And my voice is in the tests. I have the tests on tape, the actual commercials that they tested in different markets. I have the tapes on VHS. So I'm going to probably post those. What's I'm going to do to me at this point? But it's something I did that was, I actually did the voice of Yogi Bear for commercials. There were tests, but it was my voice and they were actually run and used. So think how cool some of the stuff is I did back in the day. And I did other cool things like that too. Because but they were just interesting. Oh yeah, that puke scene was so funny on the Play-Doh. That's like one of my favorite things ever. Oh, I say, let's eat this. It says it's connected. Can you see me? I'm sorry if it goes. I can walk closer to the Wi-Fi here. If I stand up and walk close to the Wi-Fi, but it's a little dark over there. The Wi-Fi unit. Can you still see and hear me okay? I'm going to go over to where it's closer to the unit, but it's not a very pretty area. This is an old building from the 1850s they're working on. So there are a lot of things about my life that are kind of interesting, and you're going to hear them all. And one way or the other, you're all going to have to hear about it because it's kind of interesting. And now it's all coming sort of back to haunt me in a way. It's not bad. It's nothing bad, but it's kind of interesting. Can you Yogi's Bear still? Yes, I could do Yogi Bear. I was smarter than the average bear, and I ate at Denny's because they had those great walnut. Remember, I also did Tony the Tiger in a couple commercials. That's the whole story, too, because Thurl Ravenscroft was still alive. And they had an interesting contractual agreement that they sort of tried to work around for a couple commercials. And I got involved in those because I could do his voice pretty good at the time, Tony's. And I don't want to get into that one right now. I got all kinds of stories about that. But I would say the thing, and this building that I'm in was built in 1850 and it leaks. It's an old factory building built on the Connecticut River. It's beautiful. Oh my God. No more 5 stars. Now likes and shares. It's so funny to think how YouTube has changed from the early days. Yeah, but I could do Yogi Bear. I could do Yogi Bear all day. And I did him with Boo Boo Buddy, and I did Banana and walnut pancakes for Denny's. Come to Denny's and bring the whole family. We have a special Jellystone Park menu. I still have the menu we made and everything for that. It's so funny now. It's 2:28 in the morning. Oh, it's in the UK. Blog TV needs to come back. I wish Blog TV would come back. That was so good. I miss that. I can't do Elmer Fudd's voice. It's not like I do different cartoon character voices. I had a range of voices. I had a range of voices that worked. When you do cartoon character voices, I'm not an impressionist like those people that do like 70 voices in 70 seconds on YouTube. I did a range of voices. My voices were all usually robot voices, deep voices. And it's better in the morning. Oddly enough, my voice is a lot deeper in the morning and it gets higher during the course of the day. I would say the thing that's funny is years ago, Scringy's still here. He's working in the building because he actually works here. And are you still painting? Yes. I would love to show you the paintings. I have very few of them down here. I'm in a lower area because I'm closer to where the Wi-Fi is set up, and I'm just figuring out how to get everything all set up here. You did secret voices, yeah. And I did what was called comp voices. And the thing about comp voices is I did sample voices. And a lot of those sample voices were created to test things. But a lot of times they went through and became the final things. That's another thing that's kind of funny is that I did comp voices that were tested, but I didn't often do the final piece. I did some voices for ABC Television. They were used by ABC Television as bumpers. And I have my contracts and I have the thing about the recordings, okay? But I don't know which ones are mine and which ones aren't because I had to do so many. But one of the things that you might have heard is when remember I was young when I did these things, before I had kids. And the first one I did was, they wanted to do these claymation things that said, after these messages, we'll be right back. And I did a couple, and I was, after these messages, we'll be right back. So I did that, and they didn't like it. What happened is they ran it as a sample, and General Mills complained that I sounded like Tony the Tiger. It sounded like the intro to all the commercials when they went to commercial break on ABC television, in the late 70s through, that time period. They were running these. And they said, oh my God, can you do a whole bunch more of those? So I came back in to replace it. And I did a bunch of them. It's probably one of the only things that people see, like, after these messages, we'll be right back. I don't know how many of those were my voice. They made a lot of those. It isn't just one. They did a lot. They did a little cowboy. After these messages, we'll be right back. So there's a lot of those. And my voice actually was used in some of those productions. They replaced it with other people's at times, but definitely I was in some of those. And it was one of the things that people might remember having been done. But again, I was on the fringes of this. I was on the outside fringes of this, of doing these commercials and doing these animated things. And it was at a time when you had to join the union. You had to become a union player. You had to have screen credits and all this other stuff. And I was traveling around the world. I was going to China. I was going to Japan. I was going all over the world with product design. I was sitting with the buyers in QVC and Home Shopping Network and Walmart and Target. I was appearing in infomercials. I was on QVC Live. I was a live presenter on QVC and the Home Shopping Network selling products. And the whole voice thing sort of stepped aside. But I think it would have been really cool if I'd continued that. I think my whole life would have been so different. And I was in the right place at the right time. And kind of interesting. So I'll be telling you, my beard isn't cut like it is right now. I've been trimming it lately, but I'll try to get all brushed out next time I go live. I didn't think I was going to definitely go live tonight, but I had to do it. And it's just so nice to see you all here. I'm so glad you all stopped by to reminisce with me a little while. This was a nice long show, it's an hour. And I'm not sure you could get into that now. I think I could, because I have the credits. I have a lot of credits for what I did back in the day that are kind of important and cool. I really believe that I could do it again. But I don't think a lot of people could. I think it'd be a difficult thing. It's like doing toy products. It'd be almost impossible to do what I did back in the day. America had 100 toy companies. Now it has no toy companies, basically. If you don't try to sell to Hasbro or Mattel, you're about out of it because they bought out all the toy companies. You know what I mean? And they're using professional art studios and professional designers and stuff. I mean, I could still do that work, but again, it'd be very difficult to get an into any of that stuff. Dress up makes a blurry toy. Somebody says that. Yeah, I still got all those things. I still have all the toys here. Looking forward to it. This is so great. Yeah, I've done a lot here. I'm trying to straighten my beard out. I'm looking at myself in the camera to see what I look like, and just want to make sure I look halfway decent. But there's going to be a lot more toys. I have a lot more of the toys here. Don't forget to give me 5 stars that don't exist anymore. Don't forget to rate, favorite, subscribe, and share. You know, and wait until my next. I'll be doing those things again. It'll be kind of fun, won't it? And remember, I'm on Instagram. I'd appreciate if everyone would follow me on Instagram. I'm Mike Mozart on Instagram. I'm a professional artist and always have been. I've always done paintings my whole life. My whole life's been about paintings. And if you follow me there, you'll see an awful lot about my paintings. I'll be going back on there a lot. I haven't even been on Instagram much because during this move here, I had to move during the pandemic. And I was one of the most in-demand people because I have all this immunity to things, which I never expected. And if you were one of my fans of live shows, something else has gone a lot further. It's not only did they discover I had immunity to COVID, and I seem to be someone that generates an awful lot of antibodies for things, but anyone that's followed me knows, if you look at my toy review videos, I usually have spots all over the backs of my hands. They're not there now. I'm in some pretty good lighting. At 60, I don't have any spots, so I don't have any spots. I only have one shadow of a spot right now. They go away. Here. There's one right there. See that one spot? Those are all in my YouTube videos, a lot of them. And what they discovered is I get cancer on my hands. I get from light exposure. And I cure it. For some reason, I make antibodies and immunity to cure my skin cancer. And that could be revolutionary to the whole world right now. They've been working on it. And that's taken a little bit of my time with these different studies and different doctors and different tests they've been giving me for a lot. And I like that Mike the Immortal. I know it's funny to think about now. Who would have ever guessed stupid Mike Mozart doing these funny toy reviews and, with all the candy and everything. And it turns out that I have this immunity that no one knew about. I've always thought that it was nothing. I always thought because those spots came and went, I thought it was nothing. But as it turns out, it is something. It's something kind of important. And it seems to be some factor that's being tested in a lot of animals. Right now it's being tested in dogs, of all things. And look at this. Wait a second. There's my 3 current dogs. I'll turn around. Yeah, so they'll stay there. There. That's Big Boy. That's Mike's dog, Scringy's dog right there. And these 2 girls are mine. I'm in a lower part. It's like a warehouse where I'm standing right now. I'm going to try to go up to the upper studio so you can see it a little bit better. Remember I like Black Labs? Cocoa Puff is, we lost Cocoa Puff, but man, the Spunky is long gone too. I'm so sorry about Spunky being gone. She died quite late. She lived to 17. And this dog right here, Haley, kept Spunky happy. If you look at some of my last live shows, that's Haley. This is Big Boy. This is the biggest Black Lab imaginable. This dog's huge. It's like 140 pounds for a Black Lab. Look how happy they are. And I've been busy. And if it was the daytime, I'd say something exceptional. I'll let the dogs outside. I think they want to go out. My studio is in 1850s warehouse on a river. I've been trying to restore it, and I'm under a bridge. Probably doesn't show here. But up there, I'm under a big suspension bridge in Connecticut, one of the only big suspension bridges. It goes right over the building I'm in. It's so cool. Let me turn this back. So they're outside here. There's a big stock tank I got full of water for them to splash around in. I'm here. Hold on, I'm here. Hold on, I'm turning the camera on. See, I'm back. I'm here. I want to let the puppies out. Yeah. Mosey is the troll under the bridge. Oh my God, Mike Pere is here. Hi, Michael. One of my great fans up in Massachusetts. You're going to be at the Big E this year. I will be going up to see the Big E. During the pandemic, we haven't been able to go and do anything. Most everything was canceled. I'm sort of looking forward to the Big E this year. I knew that a lot of my fans would come. The puppies are doing great, by the way. Hey, Mike, it's great to see you. Are you going to be at the Big E this year, Michael? I don't know if he's still in the area anymore after all this time. Yeah, he's going to go to the Big E. That's the Eastern States Expedition in Springfield, Massachusetts. One of the greatest things on earth. Yeah, I'm back is really something. I'm going to see how far I can scroll back. I'm just looking at all the comments going by here. So I'm going to be back a lot more. I have a lot of failed toys to review. I'm going to start telling you more about the things I did in the past. Here's Scringy's walking over here. Probably he's going to say goodbye. And I'd appreciate if you'd all follow me on Instagram. I'm Mike Mozart on Instagram. And you can see all my paintings. Scroll back to all the paintings I did. And there's Scringy. See? That's there. That's him, see? It doesn't change any. I know. Doesn't he? Doesn't change a bit. So
I'm still better looking than you.
Yeah, no big deal. So yeah, so there's a lot of stories.
Did you show them all the doggies?
I showed them the doggies. They love the doggies. They were loving the doggies.
Show my big puppy here.
Yep, they were having such a great dog.
My big puppy. Oh my goodness.
Mongo is really the big boy. Sometimes we nickname him Mongo, which isn't really a good name to call a dog, because overseas it means something bad, which it doesn't mean in America. But we call him Big Boy. We call him Big Boy. We call him Big Boy.
He's my big puppy.
Yeah, so occasionally we call him Mongo, especially if he's jumping on people and he's big and heavy.
Well, that's his name. He knows his name.
Yeah, he knows his name. Look at all the people going by. My biggest fans. Hi, Jeff. All going by here.
Come on, get out of here. Hey, get outside. Come on, go.
I think everyone's gonna know where I am. I'm in a very distinctive place. People are gonna all know exactly where I am because I'm in this spot that's an amazing, beautiful spot on the Connecticut River. Flooded today, by the way. We're in this big storm today. It rained. And Scringy's back too, which makes it special. That's why I thought I would go. Are you like Benjamin Button aging backwards? I don't know. Oh, I don't have wireframe glasses on. Usually have wireframe glasses, remember? These are what I do when I paint because they're a lot more durable. See? Benjamin Button disease.
What do you mean more durable? What? You don't wrestle with the paintings? What the fuck?
The dogs jump all over me.
Huh?
The dogs jump all over me.
Oh, stop it.
Somebody says I'm cursed in Glastonbury. Glastonbury, Connecticut or Glastonbury, England? Somebody says they're in Glastonbury, England or Connecticut. It's so funny because most in Connecticut, USA, you're in Glastonbury. You should stop and see my studio. I'm very nearby Glastonbury. You're 5 minutes away from me. Literally, like 5 minutes away. Send me a message on Instagram. And one of the people I'm very, very proud of.
Dan Mosey's back.
Tell a friend. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Oh my God, how funny is that? And yeah, so I got failed toys. I got plenty of failed toys. I have a lot I never reviewed, so it'll be really cool. Do I still have Baby Laughs a lot? Yes, I have a whole bunch of them. What people don't know is I have like 30 of them. I was going to do a horror movie called Revenge of the Baby Laugh-A-Lots on YouTube, where they're all mad at me for making fun of the failed toys. They're all going to come after me.
I packed them up in silver duct tape so they won't.
Do you still have them? They're alive. They will be coming back to you. That's what it says here. The Atomic Energy Lab. Yeah, I might show that. The Atomic Energy Lab by A.C. Gilbert actually has radioactive material in it. I kind of wonder if it would be a problem. Hey, Mike, you never brought back down the dynamite shacks. One of the things I never reviewed was all the things based on dynamite. There were a lot of kids games about blowing stuff up. I never reviewed them as failed toys, really. And if you have to come to me's live shows. I'm going to be doing live shows and recorded shows where I actually tell you some of the history of my life because it's kind of interesting. You're going to be kind of surprised about it. There's a few things. Think of all the, I'm looking at all the people going by here. Look at all this. I'm trying to read the comments. They're going by so fast. Yeah, no more delays. It's the third time. I just need to come back. I want to come back. I'm more settled. I'm not as stressed anymore. This has taken a lot to move here. It was really something. And I found a lot of cool stuff. And Scringy's back around. I don't know how long, but he'll be back around. He tends to take off periodically for a few months, usually because he's very easily distracted by certain things in his life, and which is fine with me. And do I still have the Dora the Explorer Aqua Pets? Yes, but all the water dried up in them. Isn't that funny? The water all dried up in them. The real Ghostbusters toys. I worked on the line of them. I was one of the product designers of those toys. I'm telling you, I created your childhood out there. I worked on so much of this stuff, and when I did, it was nothing. We didn't think of it anything special. It wasn't anything special at all when we did it. It was just another project to work on, like tons more there. And Dora the Explorer Aqua Pet. They're almost impossible to find. To find a Dora the Explorer Aqua Pet that's in mint condition with the water still in it is a problem. Like the water slowly evaporated out of them. That's why there's a problem. I still have the Insultinator as far as I know. We had a lot of stuff over here. I think I gave away the Kiss lamp. Favorite toy to design? The Crayola product line. I did Crayola products for 10 years. I really liked doing that magic rainbow watercolor set. That was a pretty cool thing. I like doing that. I still have samples of that here. I'm going to be reintroducing it too as another one. Courtney LaCox is here. Look at this. She has got to be. People are chatting. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Discovered you can actually touch the chat and do this with it. You couldn't do that before on YouTube Live. I haven't done YouTube Live in 7 years. I know my voice has changed a lot. I'm sorry about that. My voice was a much deeper voice, and it's gone back to my original voice mostly. And still, I'm going to do a show in the morning. When I first wake up in the morning, my voice is really low, like it used to be when I was a kid. I just have a very low voice. I would say one of the things that's going to be prominent is in the documentary, and I just want you to be aware of it because it's not a bad thing, is think of all the failed toy reviews I've ever done. I've done a lot. I've reviewed every kind of a toy and every kind of a failed toy. Except for one. I did the Kaba kick gun, the suicide gun for kids from Japan. Remember that? I don't have the Kaba kick. I gave it away to somebody. But just another little hint, and please don't be upset. I'm forewarning you about it because you're going to be hearing quite a bit about it. And it's nothing bad. Again, nothing bad. But I have never reviewed guns. Ever notice I never do any toy guns? I never mention guns in any of my toy reviews. Because I lived my summers in Maine as a child on a farm. And we hunted up there when I was a child until I was 19. I haven't shot a gun since I was 19 years old. But up until that point, it was a 400 plus acre farm, and we had invading animals to shoot. It was what it was, and I didn't want people to ever think bad of me. But that's led to some interesting things now. And it's, again, not bad. But when I was out hunting with the family, the farmers there, it was because there were coyotes breaking into the chicken house and eating the chickens. There were deer that were destroying the gardens, and that's what they shot. And the only reason I'm mentioning it now is when I was a kid, that was a big part of my life. And you're going to discover just how much of it was at the time. Again, please forgive me for when I make the stories about what happened. It's nothing bad. It's all good. It's all amazing stories. But it's going to come out in these documentaries. I lived the life of freaking Ernest Hemingway. I was incredible. Yeah, it could be the one that you just said that rhymes with something. And it was remarkable. I had a remarkable childhood. When I was 12, 13, 14 years old, I had some of the most amazing stories. The most amazing things happened to me. Everything was fantastic. Now, looking back, I was so lucky. Okay? And yeah, different world on a farm. It was a different time. It was so different in the 1960s. That was a long time ago. The 1960s, 1970s were a long time ago. And it was more of an isolated farm. And I have incredible stories about what happened to me on that farm, which I didn't think a lot of at the time, which turned out to be colossally important right now, which you're going to discover. Weren't you a voice actor in younger days? Yes, you missed it. I've been talking about that. Yep. I did a lot. And I'm going to start, but at the time it wasn't anything. voice acting in the 1970s. They didn't call it voice acting; they called it voiceovers, and it was nothing. Didn't get paid a lot of money for it, and no one wanted to do it. One of the only the reason I got into even doing it is no one would do it, and they couldn't find anyone to do it. We were like begging people, could you do some voices for this cartoon or something? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Okay, fine. Yeah, sounds so different than your videos. Well, I'm 60. I haven't done any YouTube videos. Those toy review videos I did 15 years ago. And I'm thin. I'm very, very thin now. I've grown my beard out more because I lost a lot of weight. And if I didn't have my beard, you'd see I'm quite thin. But the beard, I let my beard grow out and a bit fluffy to sort of look like my old self again. And I did put some weight on purposely. Do I have the McDonald's burger snap maker? Yes, I do. And I have a lot more of those snap makers than I ever reviewed. A lot of people copied my videos and did the other ones themselves, but I still have all the original toys. I have a lot of toys. I have a lot of toy reviews I never posted at the time I'll be posting. Yes, I will be going back to Times Square. I like visiting down there at Times Square. I'm going to be doing more Play-Doh sets. I have over 1,000 Play-Doh sets. And one of the reasons is I designed them. Back in the day, I was a product designer. I did Play-Doh sets. That's why I have so many of them. And I never told anybody that at the time. I hadn't done any work on them since the late 1970s, early 80s. So when I was doing those reviews, they were already 20 years old, and I didn't tell people about it. Yeah, we'll be doing other meetups again. Definitely do other meetups. And it says very bad connection. It says I have a very bad connection. If I lose you, let me start right now because it says I have a very bad connection. It shows on my Wi-Fi is good though. So I don't know. If I lose it, I will be back, okay? And I'm going to try to get, I will try to broadcast from my studio upstairs on my cell phone, but the signal is usually bad. Hi, Munchkles. Some of these people are going by so fast it's hard to see. Munchkala, not to see what the names say. It's just hard to see them sometimes going by. Ryan's video stuff. I mean, really, what was I thinking waiting so long? Oh my God, the 1985 Operation game. That's been reviewed about, 1965 one has been reviewed about 100 times. I'll do it, I have it here. The one where the guy's actually smoking, the doctor is operating and he's smoking with a big cigarette with a big holder in his mouth. And you're gonna discover just how many toys I designed. I know it's lagging. Roshi is here. Hi, Roshi watches. One of my longtime fans is here, especially on Twitter. I am also on Twitter as Jeepers Media. Jeepers Media on Twitter. And I am Mike Mozart on Instagram. You really should follow me on Instagram. We'll be posting a lot there. And I'm a painter. Remember, I'm an actual painter there. Hi, Diego Flores. Look at all the old fans here, too. I'm enjoying seeing everybody's name go by again for the first time in a long time. Check out my old videos again. They're kind of fun. And I'm gonna be making new ones for YouTube, and I'm gonna be making them for TikTok. And I'll publish that. And there's a lot of things that have happened. I mean, I just have to. I'm gonna make some videos so people all know just what's happened to me the last few years. Again, it's all great. My life is one big crazy adventure, a non-stop, non-ending adventure. And it just doesn't stop being an adventure. I wish sometimes it would slow down a little bit so that I can just relax, and just enjoy life a little bit more. That's why I really got off YouTube. I've barely been on YouTube for a decade because it was a lot of stress being one of the top channels. I don't know if you guys remember, I was one of the top 20 channels on YouTube for a long time. I was up there with Shay Carl. I don't even know if he's on there anymore. Philip DeFranco. I mean, whatever happened to these people? I don't even know if anyone even knows who they are anymore. Now it's all PewDiePie and everything. But back then it was a different landscape, a different place, and we all knew each other. The top people all knew each other. And that was different. Chris Crocker, I used to talk to Chris Crocker on the phone. It was just a different landscape, a different life back then. Philly D is still making content. That's good to hear. Oh yeah, I'm just looking at all the things go by here. Yeah, things have changed a lot. I was one of the real pioneers on YouTube before it was much of anything. Old YouTube was the best. Mediocre Films, oh my God, is on Twitch. And I love Mediocre Films. Oh my God. They did the the chicken Chinese the Chinese chicken machine show videos that were so funny. Gorgeous tiny chicken machine show. Oh my God, mediocre films. Cocoa Puff passed away about 8 years ago, at 15 or so. She was really a great dog. And now I have other dogs. I've always had so many more dogs. I know things have changed. YouTube was nice. YouTube was sort of a quiet, nice, fun place. And it just sort of got too much, too professional, too much stress, too much to answer all the questions and all the messages and everything. My whole life, the thing I liked doing most was painting, being a professional artist and painting. And I'm getting back to that. If you go on my Instagram, go back on my Instagram. It's Mike Mozart on Instagram, and you'll get to see a lot. And PewDiePie was back then, but he wasn't anybody. And I'm working with some people now too that were minor YouTube people back in the day, like Gary V. Anyone know who Gary V is? He started doing wine reviews on YouTube when I was one of the top 20 people on YouTube, and I'm talking to him. I just did a painting for him, as a matter of fact. You'll be seeing a lot about me. But thanks again for hanging on. My connection's terrible here. I'm going to try to get the connection better. And I miss all of you, and I will be back. And I really need to be back because I need to talk to people. And I'm going to try to pull out on my scripts so you can see just how much you've all heard my voices. 10 years before, 20 years before YouTube existed. And back when I was doing it, nobody cared. Yeah, the finance guy, the NFT guy. Okay, and I like these comments. Gary Vee was awful. Well, it's just somebody I just happen to know. I know a bunch of people. And I got out of it because it was a lot of stress. And I enjoyed being live, and I liked doing everything. I did my live shows later than I did my YouTube videos, but there's a lot of things about enjoying life and living life and having fun instead of just working and working and working every minute all the time, trying to make videos and respond to people and content. It was a lot of work then, and I just couldn't. I didn't want to keep that going. Yes, I'm gonna fix my Wi-Fi system. I haven't tried broadcasting live, so I didn't know how poor it would be. Oh, that's nice. Look, YouTube has started recommending smaller channels. That's nice. Because if you're a big channel, the only way to get popular on YouTube is you had to have bigger channels recommend you. That was about it. And things, that's the way I had to go. Still that way in art. The only way that you can get your art seen, if you're an artist, you need someone like me to promote it for you. Yeah, I know. So and happy birthday too. Somebody just went by talking about happy birthday. This was a great Christmas present, birthday present. It's just they're going by so fast here. And I'm so glad that I was an important part of your childhoods out there. It makes me happy to think that I had so much influence at the time. I'm going to start releasing a lot of videos, and I have to. I have a lot of recorded videos that I never posted at the time, and I'm going to make some videos about my life, mostly so people don't freak out when the documentary comes out. Again, nothing bad, but I want people to at least be aware that, hey, I had an interesting childhood. My childhood was in the 1960s, 1970s, when I was a kid, and everything was analog, and everything was the old way, and it was just a different life before social media ever existed. And it was a different life. And it was a great life, fantastic life. And I'm glad I helped influence a bunch of people when they were young, and I helped influence people to start their own YouTube channels, and it was pretty nice. I was kind of happy that I could do that. Yeah, but again, I will talk to you guys soon. I will probably be back here quite a lot, live on the Toy channel. I'm probably going to delete the first 2 tests that came out terrible here. I don't know. And I would say, try to follow me. Oh, Nicholas Road is here. Hi, I'm following him on Twitter. Well, what a remarkable channel that is. He's one of my longtime fans, so I have to. But it's nice to see you all guys again. You're all fantastic, and I've appreciated and enjoyed every one of you there. Absolutely. You're all amazing. All my loyal live fans that watch my live streaming shows. All the people that commented on my videos. It was a very special time for me. I do miss it, and I really want to get back to it. And I think coming back right now is a good time because there's no stress of being a top channel. It's not like I'm, a PewDiePie channel or something. You know how much effort and power and energy you'd have to expend to be at the top of your game all the time for something like that? It'd be impossible now. It was very difficult then. No, it's just something. But I'll be back on a lot. Please tell your friends that I'm back around again. Please tell everyone that I'm going to be posting on my Instagram regularly again. And I'm really coming back to life. And working on this building has been quite an effort here. Oh my God. It has been so much effort to move the past 2 years, get this place so the roof isn't leaking too much. And I have to tell you all my stories. And it's been a lot. It's been a lot of stories, and a lot of it's been really good. And I'm helping a lot of other artists. And there'll be new videos. Hopefully, I'm going to start posting videos about my life in a few days. Just so you're not like surprised. I want to come out and you're all going to say, wow, this is it. This is so exciting. I lived like an Ernest Hemingway life my whole life. I lived this astounding life, and at the time, I never appreciated it. I really didn't realize it. Oh, what's what this is going by? Greg from Mediocre Films. Oh my God, I love Mediocre Films so much. That was one of my very favorite channels early on. When they were a big channel at one time. It's like when Dave Days was big, and I'm trying to think of the ones I really liked. Ask Fluffy. Remember Fluffy? Remember the guy that had the knit baseball cap that said Fluffy on it? Usually talk about weed. When wow, all those people, I gotta find out what happened to all those people. I still have their phone numbers. I have phone numbers for all these people. I want to know if they still work or not now. I should just try texting them or calling them. Hey everybody, I'm seeing Rabbit of Steel. I'm looking at the names going by here. I know it's been so long. I'm trying to Fluffy. Hey, what's up? Oh yeah. Here's Feline 59. I'm going back. It's Gracie. Your crime's been so long. Nicholas Intante. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Andrew Gomez. Oh my God. Mediocre Films was the best thing ever. You know what I really used to like was muskets. It was a great YouTube channel at the time. It was one of the top channels too. It was called like They Have Muskets, or what's the name of that channel? My God, their stuff was so good. It was a very early channel. Oh my God. They did the House of the Future one that I liked so much. Oh, hi, Iron Bear. Oh my God, Iron Bear 66. It's been so long. Oh my God, I'm back. That's one of my old fans. Used to be on all my live shows. Since you saw, let's see. Yeah, 15. Yeah, a lot of people hadn't seen me for years. Oh my God, Iron Bear is back. It says here, here's Nogie, Noggie. So nice that you put such a kind message. Look at all these nice messages. Shane Dawson, is he still around? I was concerned about Shane. I always thought he would sort of implode from his success at the time. What a great guy. I really liked Shane Dawson. Oh my God. Think of the old days when YouTube was Shane Dawson. It was Niga Higa, which was, what happened to those guys? What happened to, man, isn't it funny? I'm trying to think of the names. This is the first time I even thought about it in years. People all in the top 20. Oh, poor Shane Dawson, a lot of drama. I'm not surprised. I'm looking at more of these things. Corey Williams is still around. SMP Films. I used to talk to Corey on the phone. Oh my God. It's so funny. Sam was canceled. No, that's too bad. Niga Higa streams games on Twitch. I'm looking at who's around still. What the Buck is What the Buck, and Ray William Johnson still around? Remember the early YouTube? Hey, what's the buck? God, he lived just a mile away from my art studio. When I was broadcasting on YouTube, when I started on YouTube, he was like a mile away from me. Isn't that funny? I used to talk to him early on YouTube. I was one of the early promoters of him when YouTube was like 2005, 2006, when nobody was on it. Isn't that funny? Smosh is dead now, so Smosh isn't good. Oh, you like the Talking Kitty? Oh my God. Toby Turner dropped off face of the earth. Well, I sort of dropped off too. Now I'm looking at the other stuff. Fred. Hi, it's Fred. That was all YouTube. Justine. Oh my God, Shay Tards. I'm looking at that. Oh, the Mean Kitty song. I love the Mean Kitty song. Oh my God. No, the Annoying Orange still exists. Oh my God. Hey, I'm the Annoying Orange. Oh my God, Tabascus. I'm just looking at all these. These are all names, guys. When I was one of the top 20, top 30 YouTubers all the time, those were all the names that were right around. How's Cringy, my assistant? He comes and goes. He was my assistant back in the day, and he's back again helping me again, which he seemed to come and go like the wind. He has to be back now, and I was just thinking, wow, it'd be kind of nice if I started just going on YouTube again since he's around. He could help me go on YouTube again. He hasn't changed any. He's still the same exact guy. Yeah, I'm one of the real pioneers on YouTube. One of the super pioneers back in the early days. I do miss those days. I kind of wonder what happened to some of the other people there. The Hill 88. Geez, whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to that Justin Bieber kid? I remember when Justin Bieber wasn't a channel, it was his dad. His dad was the YouTube person, early celebrity. What was he? King Rowell or Lord Rowell was Justin Bieber's dad. And he was like Kid Rowell. What was his name? I have a video of me being interviewed by Justin Bieber at 777 in New York City. 2007 in New York City, guys. Think how long ago that was. Little baby Justin Bieber, about 7 years old, interviews me. You're my favorite person on YouTube. And I have the video of it. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm just looking at this. The talking kitty. Oh, I didn't know that about the kitty. Talking kitty cat. For all my fans here, if you're not aware of it, poor Happy Cabby passed away. He was a guy that did balloon animals. He's kind of overweight. Used to be a frequent co-host on my live shows years ago. He's passed away. Oh, something else sad too, since people are here, is a lot of people passed away of COVID. And one of them was Norm Santoro. Anyone here that was in my live shows, I talked to Norm Santoro almost every day for years. Okay, and he unfortunately passed away of COVID. I was one of the last people to speak to him. And he was sick. And we used to do two-way video. And I used to talk with him at night. And he was very sick. He was going to the hospital and he didn't make it. Anyone that was in my live shows used to co-host him. He was a paraplegic that lived in Arizona. And I tracked down his family to let them know. And I did find his family and reunited him with his family. His family picked up his ashes, and he is in a family little, I forget what they call those. We go to a cemetery, and that's the place where they put the urns in the cemetery. Mausoleum, I guess. But he's with his family. He's next to his mother now, and I tracked him down. What you guys don't know about Norm Santoro is that wasn't his real name. He was injured in a motorcycle accident, and he became a paraplegic. And his real name was I'll tell you, his last name was Lafreniere, was his real last name, Lafreniere. I don't want to say his first name. He didn't want anyone to know what his real name was for some reason. But I've known him for years. He's a really sweet guy, and I've too bad he passed away of COVID. And he was younger than me. And I've unfortunately lost 6 people that were fairly close to me because of COVID. And that's what got me into when they discovered I had unusual immunity to COVID and had an unusual immune system. That's why I volunteered so much time, which took up a lot of my time, especially in 2020, 2021. A lot of my time was spent before they had vaccines and treatments for people to give. I gave as much blood as I could for convalescent plasma and different kinds of tests, different kinds of immune things. I tested one of the early vaccines that wasn't produced. I did a lot. Okay, so I'm just saying that I lost a lot of people, which was sort of sad. One's a particularly sad story. I'll be telling you more about that. And but people that you've known, I believe we also lost another person. Anyone that's here. Oh, the cameraman's here. Hi, cameraman. Look at that. Another one of my says I used to talk to Norm on Twitter. Yeah, I discovered what happened to Norm. It was really sad. Well, he went to the hospital. Yeah, he was French Canadian. La friendier. My great grandparents were spoke French. They were originally from the Alsace-Lorraine region, and so I know quite a lot of French. You'd be surprised. They babysat me when I was a child, but I had no one to speak French to. Occasionally, when my live shows happened, I would co-host somebody in French, and I could speak in French for a few minutes, and it would all come back to me. I'm going to start trying to do that again too. Yeah, Trinity broke the crocodile dentist. Hi, Kaylee. Good to see you back again here. We wish you could donate, but donations are turned on. Oh, whatever. Well, it's kind of you to mention that. I don't even know how it works. Mike, tu parles français? Oui, je parle français. I don't want to. I could talk French all night, but I want to start on that right now. You'll hear. Happy Cabby, I see he passed away, and I was talking to him almost every day on the phone. He was really sick too. Another person. It wasn't from COVID. It was a long time before COVID. It was at least 4 years before COVID. And it was kind of sad. I mean, I really liked him too. And I'm trying to read all these messages going by. One of my toy reviews is in French. If you look, I think it's on the Toy Channel early on. And how is Scringy my assistant? I met him at my wife's 5th year class reunion. I needed someone to work for me because I had retail garden centers. I had garden places where they sold lawn and garden products and plants, and we grew plants. I need someone to manage this little chain of plant places I had. And I met him at the reunion, and he just happened to mention, "Oh, it's nice to meet you. I just lost my job today. Got a job?" I says, "You're hired. You can run my operation." He's like, "I don't know shit about plants. I don't know anything about plants." "Oh, don't worry about it. You'll be fine." And on and off for me, he works for 5 years. He leaves for 3 years. He works for 8 years. He leaves for 7 years. Oh, my God. But he's around again, so I thought, he's sort of wandered back into the sphere again. Now I'm looking at all the things here. Ms. R still around. Yes, I talk to Ms. R periodically. He is in California, but who knows? If I can figure out how to, I'm reading the comments going by. I'm having a fun time. Hi, Michael Myers. It's been a while. Been a while for everybody here. Yeah, so Ms. R is still around. I'm going to see if I can co-host her some evening, like the old days. Ms. R was one of my frequent co-hosts. Hey, you're popular. I was very popular one time. You'd be surprised. And I didn't promote this show. I didn't tell anyone it was happening. And I'm going to start promoting myself again. Because, yes, my great-grandparents are from the Alsace-Lorraine region of France. And what I didn't know is when I was speaking French as a child, when I did the few reviews I did in French, people said I sounded like I was from Belgium, which I didn't know. I think it's just so funny. How's the doggies? All the doggies you've ever known have passed away. I have all new doggies now. Scringy's healthy and he might wander back down here. He's working tonight. That's why I decided to try to flip on live. He's working for me again, at least for a while, helping me restore this place. Yeah, I remember. Let's see what other people are saying. I'll be doing toy reviews again. I actually have a failed toy up here. Watch the commercial for this. It's called Penny the Poodle by Marx. It's Penny the Poodle by Marx. The scariest toy ever made. I'm going to make a Halloween review. It came from the depths of hell. Really, it was a terrible toy. Let me see what it says. Where to access previous stream? I've been trying to find it again. It's unlisted. I can make it live if it's unlisted, I guess. And yeah, is that a furry doll? Are you talking about me? Oh, I never thought of myself. If I let my beard grow out more, some of you guys don't know. There's pictures of me online. Like, look at Mike Mozart eyebrows. My eyebrows grow huge. My eyebrows grow like up this high on my forehead. I get huge eyebrows. And my beard grows all the way up here, like almost my eyes. I look like a werewolf. I look exactly like a werewolf. I've let it grow up that big before in the past. That's a whole story too. Um, I'm enjoying looking at all the comments going by here. It's really something. Yeah, I'm looking. Oh, CB I will be back again. I'm going to post videos that are going to explain a whole bunch of the odd things that I've done in my life. Scringy is healthy. He must have had COVID a few times too, but we've been fully vaccinated, especially me because I've been involved in so many research studies about it. If you look on my Instagram, if you look back, you'll see I got very sick and almost died in 2019. I got something called sepsis. I'd fallen and hurt my leg at my house, and I had to get knee surgery, and I caught sepsis from it. And now look at this comment. Could you Wolfman Jack? Oh my God. When I was on my radio station, I was called Wolfman Mike. I'm not kidding. My real fans realize that my first name isn't Michael. That's my middle name. My first name is Wolfgang. And all my family and friends that know me since I was a kid call me Wolfie. Wolf. That's my nickname, Wolfie. So I go out on the street and people that I grew up with, my family, call me Wolf or Wolfie. Isn't that funny? Because that's my real first name, which I don't use. I use Michael. My middle name's actually spelled Mikkel, Mickle, like that, but I was Mike. Isn't that funny? Wolfgang Mosey. Isn't that funny? It's Mosey because it told people the difference between me and Scringy, because I went by Michael or Mike. So Mike Scringy and Mike Mozart. So I became Mosey. He became Scringy. Just his last name to make sure we knew the part from him. But yeah, it's so funny now. When I was a kid in my childhood, I was in school, and I see what's the name I avoided. You'll find out why. Is this whole documentary is being built a large part on my real first name because of my life, which you'll discover. Is that I mentioned in this stream before earlier that I had actually hunted as a child because when I was very young, I was on a farm for the summer, and there were a lot of invading animals in rural Maine. You know, a giant farm that was an active farm that had goats and chickens and ducks and pigs and cows and big gardens, like vegetable gardens and stuff. And there were a lot of invading animals there. And we went hunting just on the farm because there'd be an invading elk. There'd be an invading something. And one of my big stories you're going to find out, which has really turned everything on its ear, is that if this is something else, yes, I am related to the Mozart family, but I'm not a direct relation. I'm not a direct descendant of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I'm a direct descendant of his great uncle with the same name, but still the family bloodline. That's something back to my father decades back. I'm mostly the Norwegian part of my father's family. That's how I got the middle name Mikkel. But I have to say that Wolfgang's a cool name. I probably should have kept it. And I avoided it because as I grew up, when I was a young child, it became a big part of my life in an odd way. And kids made fun of it because of it. That's what made fun of my name, because when I was 13, I grew out this beard. I grew out this huge beard at 13 years old. And imagine a 13-year-old boy with a big beard, whose name was, and it grows all the way up to my beard grows all the way up my cheeks. It grows way up my cheeks. There's pictures of me online like that. It grows up really solid. And it's actually high now. I usually shave it off my cheeks so people can see my cheeks, my dimples. And my mustache gets cartoony big. My mustache gets like cartoony big, like aesthetics. Isn't that funny to think now? But yeah, when I was a kid, my mother is half American Indian, and part of the Penobscot Indian Nation in Maine, which is still there. Not a lot of Indians left there on the reservation, but Native Americans, I should say. They were called Indians back in the 70s. 13 years old and a beard, yeah, just like this, bigger. I grew it way out. I only trimmed my beard off when I was about 17 for a while, on and off when I was 17, because I looked exactly like the lead singer of a group called America. There was a music group called America, and they did a song, "Oh, I've been through a desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain." And they did, "Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't know where he had." I looked exactly like the lead singer. Oh my God. So somebody said badass. Now this is something. Somebody just went by, and you're gonna find out what's happened. Badass 12-year-old. All right, now you're gonna all discover something about me, and this is why I'm actually going live again. I grow a huge beard. I have a huge European ancestry, and one of the big Ventura Highway in the sunshine. So one of the big things is, so here I'm a 13-year-old kid with a beard like this. Okay. It's what happened when I was 12 and 13 years old that changed my life a lot. And a lot of it is when I was 12 years old, I was in Maine at my grandmother's cabin. This is a real interesting story. I don't know how many people want to hang around for this one, but you're going to hear something that people don't know about Mike Mozart, a lot of stuff. And then you'll find out why I never talk about my youth, ever. Look at all the videos, look at all the live shows. Anyone know anything about me before I was 19 years old? Nothing. Is that when I was 12, I spent, ever since I was 5 years old, I spent my summers in Maine with my grandmother and on a farm that my grandmother's brother owned. And when I was young, the farm used to raise a kind of dog called blue tick coonhounds, which were uncommon in Maine. It was really a southern hunting dog, but that was their specialty. So they had probably 8 breeding female dogs. Raising blue tick coonhounds is one of the things they did on this giant farm. And they loved those dogs. I loved those dogs. And so my uncle, great uncle, was my grandmother's brother, came over to her cabin on a lake, a beautiful lake. The cabin isn't there anymore. And the dogs were allowed to run around the woods because they were hound dogs. They loved running through the woods and chasing things. And they were playing around, and they came running back to the cabin. And it was summertime, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The screen door was there. The inside door was open. And the dogs came running in. They were like crazy, barking. They were back to the screen door barking. And a giant bear burst through that screen door. A huge black bear. Anyone that knows bears, anyone that's been in Maine and knows bears, they're timid creatures that usually don't attack anybody. If a bear sees you, they run the other way. But what happens is bears get worked up by dogs. If dogs antagonize them and run after them and bark at them and bite at them, they get furious and angry. And those dogs had done that to this black bear. It ran over to my grandmother's cabin and tried to get through the back door, while my grandmother in her late 70s and her brother, probably in his 80s, and me at 12 years old, and a big bear. And the bear got stuck in the back door. Big bear. This bear is a huge bear, 400-pound bear or more. It was a big bear. And so I went to the kitchen table and grabbed a big knife off the table and ran towards the bear because the bear was going to come in. This thing was worked up and it was ferocious. And bears aren't like that. And my uncle said, don't use that. And he passed me a small rifle, and like a 12-gauge rifle. And he says, here, make the first shot count. It was a bolt action gun, but you could put 12 or 14 bullets in it. I don't have the gun anymore. And and I walked right up to the bear and shot it right in the head. This bear breaking into my grandmother's cabin. I was never a hunter or anything, but it was always for like the farm or that instance. There was another certain incident. So that's when I was 12 years old. And remember, my mother's family is half American Indian. So they called the family and said, come over to this cabin. Your cousin here shot a bear. We need to get it unstuck from the door. And they had to put a tow chain around the bear and attach it to a car to pull it out. It was wedged in the back door frame. When they pulled it out with their truck, they literally pulled the whole door frame out with the bear in it. And so now I got these American Indian cousins of mine. And they said, okay, this is, you've done something very special here. And they said, so this is going to be in a documentary. I got a lot of photos of this too. They said, okay, you're now an official, special part of the American Indian nation of Penobscot because of what you are. You've proven yourself to be a man. You have to skin the bear yourself. But I was on a farm and I had done that to animals. So you don't know, I grew up on a farm, a real working farm with animals and chickens and ducks and turkeys and everything. And I actually saved my grandmother and her brother and myself from this big bear. And this is part of what, so this is when I was 12. When I was 13 years old, when I was 13 years old, on the farm that I was staying at, a wolf ran out of the woods towards the house to jump and attack a 2-year-old relative of mine who was out in the front lawn, and I jumped on the wolf and I beat it to death with my bare hands. Big gray wolf. It was a big animal. It was at least 180 or 200 pounds. It was a big damn thing. And so my first name was Wolfgang anyway. People already called me Wolfie. And then I killed a wolf with my bare hands. And I was covered in blood. I was all cut and scarred and covered in blood. And that was just something but I've never mentioned that before. And the only reason I'm mentioning it now is everyone knows me as Happy Mike Mozart. I'm the real funny Santa guy and everything. It's not a bad thing. I mean, what I did was I actually saved some kid's life, relative with my own hands. And I became something very special to the American Indians up there at the time. And I actually, I jumped on this bear and I was very injured by the bear. The wolf. I got clawed by it. I got bitten all over my face and arms. And I skinned that wolf myself. They carried me to a barn. We had a barn, this big farm with barns. And we had these big tanks, like stock tanks inside the barns, because they used to raise animals for fairs. They used to groom them for fairs and a place to wash them. And it was a barn where they used to whelp the cows, like a cow would drop a baby cow or something. And they carried me in there and took my clothes off and washed me and sewed me with needle and thread. All these big open wounds I had. No doctors within, 100 miles of where I was. And I skinned that wolf myself later that day. And I had an American Indian ceremony where I had to wear that over myself. And after I skinned it, I have it draped over myself. You'll see pictures, I got the pictures. So here I'm a 13-year-old kid with this beard. My beard was grown out then, like this. And I've got the bear, the wolf, all bloody wolf pelt draped over me. I'm covered in wolf blood. And now the people are like, the documentary people, this is the most interesting, this is the coolest thing ever. Oh my God, this is the coolest person ever, ever, ever. And I'm like, this has got to be in the documentary. We could do a whole documentary on this. It's like, darn it. I never told anyone in my role. So I became this whole joke, in a way so I was young because of the situation. I wasn't a hunter. It was a situation. So I killed a bear and a wolf. And with my first name, Wolfgang, and everybody calling me Wolf anyway and Wolfie. And so they had a special ceremony for me at this Penobscot Indians. And that's something. And we don't know. I'm trying to think what to do. It didn't talk him. I was not traumatized. It's so funny. One thing I was traumatized. Even at the time, they couldn't believe I wasn't traumatized. It was like the most exciting thing ever for me. It was like so exciting. You know what I mean? And I'll make a video explaining every detail of what happened. Very exciting. And as a kid working on a farm, I was big and ripped and strong and everything too. And so I had the American Indian ceremony. I had an American Indian ceremony for having done that. Saved this boy's life from this wolf, wild wolf, big wolf. And then to have this whole ceremony with the American Indians where I now am an official, they actually said I became a skinwalker because I had actually killed a wolf with my bare hands and had its pelt over me for this ceremony. It was the most amazing thing. And I have photographs of it. And at the time, I tried to ignore it. That's one of the reasons I never used my real name as an adult from my first name, because I thought it was, I already grew a big beard. I don't grow hair anywhere else. Look at my arms. I really don't grow hair anywhere else. Those are mosquito bites. I hardly grow hair anywhere except on my face. My face completely grows up a hair. So, yeah, after that ceremony, I tried not to use the name outside of my family of Wolf. Yes, now you're getting the idea of what they are finding. They have already interviewed family members now on my American Indian side that are still alive. They're in their 60s. I saw all the toys here. And yeah, I killed a wolf with my bare hands as a kid. I don't know what happened. When it happened, I rode up to the farm on a bike. And I saw, and instead of riding the bike to the wolf, I jumped off the bike and ran as fast as I could, screaming that this kid was outside the front of this house, you know, on a real big farm and no houses nearby. Wolf, and the thing was sneaking up on it like it was gonna like kill it, you know, like grab it and run off with it. And I jumped on the wolf as it was jumping on the kid, and I don't remember anything until I was pulled off of that. They pulled me off of the wolf, and I was still hitting it in the head. I had beaten it to death. I was like pulp. I beat it to a pulp, this big, huge wolf that weighed 3 times what I weighed. And so now these people doing the documentary on Mike Mozart and all the kids' books I did and the toys I designed for Ninja Turtles and, you know, the Ghostbusters toys in the 80s and all this stuff. That's what they started. They're saying, you're a fucking you're a skinwalker? You are a real one from the Indian nation? Yeah, I still have my skin. They have pictures. They say visit the relatives, and the relatives had pictures of the ceremony and everything. And I was like, holy crap. This is a big deal here. You know, and they want to do an entire documentary just on that bear incident and the wolf incident. And they're giving me the option if I want to do that. And I don't know if I want people to remember me as that. After Dark has begun. It's Mike Mozart After Dark. Remember, I made cartoon character voices for years. Yeah, so something happened in me. I snapped. And when they pulled me off that thing, I was cut up and bitten up and everything. So after the farm hands, there's a working farm with people working there. They pulled me off the wolf and said, thing's dead, you know, and I was like coming out of it. And at that point, I'd already started growing the big beard I've got now. So my beard is all soaked in blood. You'll see this kid's 13 years old, this beard all soaked in blood. It's all over my face. It's everywhere. And they threw me in the stock tank. They took my clothes off and threw me in a stock tank with all these cuts to wash me. And they put iodine on me, which stung like hell at the time. And they stitched me up with hand. I know, isn't it funny? I still have the skin. I still have the wolf skin that I skinned. And so when I wore in those pictures in that ceremony, and they actually had an Indian ceremony for me and gave me an Indian name. I actually have an Indian name. And it's one that I've never told or talked about. Yeah, I know, I had this beard young. I have a lot of pictures of me with a beard young. And so they believe, and what's awful is this farm was right near a place called Palmyra, Maine. There's actually a show on television, The Skinwalkers of Palmyra, Maine, about werewolves being around Palmyra, Maine. And here I am, an authentic one. See why they were so interested. Like, screw the documentary on Mike Mozart artist. We want to do this Skinwalker thing with you. You know, so that's something. I still have the wolf skin. It's not here in my studio. It's at home. I have the bear skin too. Remember, I killed a bear. I walked right up to it like I felt like the coolest. I mean, I was walking up to this bear with the knife when it was stuck in the door jamb of my grandmother's cabin's back door. This bear in a frenzy. And I walked up to it with a big kitchen knife I grabbed off the table. And my elderly 80-year-old uncle said, take this rifle and shoot it. Make your first shot count because you might not get another one. And I walked right up to it and shot it right in the head. And I skinned that myself at 12 years old. Mike Mozart, wildlife decimator. You know, you see all these people that you know, the only reason I'm mentioning this is it's a big thing. I have to decide what to do now because of it, because now they want to do these documentaries on it. And people never knew that about me. And I never talked about, you know, I've never reviewed guns negatively. I haven't shot a gun since I was 19 years old. not because of any reason other than there's no place in Connecticut to go hunting, and I started going to Maine about that time. I started traveling around the world and doing a lot of kids' books and stuff and toys. It's so funny. The lighting here is bad, but I have a big. It's not too big right now. My beard grows out huge. Yeah. So they think this should be like 2 or 3 documentaries. Hey, everybody out there, if you're arriving late, this is like so crazy. What I'd gotten into in the course of all this is just talking about. Oh, look at this. Somebody talking about the stock photos too. Yeah, I do Creative Commons pictures. Yeah, so here I am. Here I am, the guy that did all the happy-go-lucky Santa Claus toy reviews, and it turns out to be, as a child, I did something that was quite important that now they want to do documentaries on. But at the time, I sort of ignored and actually stopped using my real first name publicly, and just left the family to call me Wolf and Wolfie. Anyone that's followed me for years realized if I've ever had a family member on, they call me Wolf or Wolfie, because my first name's Wolfgang. And I've avoided because not only do I have more brutal than Davy Crockett. I was 12 years old when I killed the bear. Of course, in the song Davy Crockett, he killed him a bear when he was only 3. I was 12 before I grew the beard. And but the documentary is kind of brutal in a lot of ways. And what happened? They've interviewed relatives of mine that are still alive, that are in their 60s. I turned 60 years old, and what they're very interested in is the fact that I was in the actual American Indian ceremonies, and the one for the wolf is that I had one for the bear too when I killed that bear because it was breaking into my grandmother's cabin. The thing was crazy, huge bear, but I had to skin the bear myself. So the American Indian got it out of the cabin, got out of the door jamb. These are my first cousins at the time, or second cousins. There was a bunch of them. They got up on a picnic table, and I had to skin the bear myself. It was too big. They were going to try to hang it up, but they couldn't. And so I skinned a bear when I was 12 years old. And then my one of the American Indians says, "You have to cut out the bear's heart." And it says, so I did. And for some reason, it didn't bother me. It wasn't like traumatized. I felt like, wow, I feel great. It was like amazing to have done this. And they actually deep fried it and made me eat it. I ate a bear's heart at 12 years old. And I had an American Indian ceremony wearing that bear skin. Is that incredible? That's Mimo. Mike Mozart is this person that was involved in all this stuff at the time. And these documentary people had no idea until they started interviewing people that knew me when I was young. And they're saying, this is what the documentary should be. Screw the art. This is real stuff. The area in Maine you're from is known for all this legendary Indian stuff. And you were right there, and you were one of the real people. It's like, yeah, but I've always avoided that in my real life. So I'm going to make videos about it, explaining it in more detail and showing pictures of myself. There's no video of the ceremony that they gave me, but there's pictures. There's a couple photos of it that are pretty clear. Is that in this ceremony, for the bear, which particularly was good, is that they saved a jar of the blood from the bear when I was skinning it, and so when they had the ceremony that night, they had an American Indian ceremony at the Penobscot Indian Reservation. They lit the big bonfire, and they had the Indians there. And I had on leather pants, but no shirt, and barefoot. And this old Indian man took his hand, put it in the blood, and he made his hand like claw and went like this across my chest. And I had this big red like claw mark across me. And that was quite a thing. If you're 12 years old, is that like the bomb? Really, it was very exciting. It was like so exciting to me. And still, it seemed very exciting. But the same thing happened with the wolf. But the wolf thing was different. They said the wolf that's when they gave me my own Indian name, which I don't know if I want to reveal yet. It's kind of interesting. But I've actually given an Indian name. by a tribe of my relations in Maine, and they said that you are officially a skinwalker. You have the spirit of the wolf, because I killed the wolf with my bare hand, saving someone's life. I am officially a skinwalker, and I never heard that expression again from my whole life until recently, when they came out with this stupid show called The Skinwalkers of Palmyra, Maine. You know what I mean? I still have the skin from the wolf and everything. Isn't it something? And I will make a video and I'll tell you what my wolf name is, my Indian name. And it's so funny because my first name being Wolfgang and Wolfie, and being always called Wolf and Wolfie, you know, in large part too, because I have this face that just grows this huge bunch of hair. And it needs to be trimmed right now. It grows, it literally covers almost all my face. It grows up here under my nose. It grows all the way up here almost to my eyes. This is all hair. The only thing that doesn't have hair is my nose. My nose actually grows hair on it when I shave it. Isn't that funny? Nothing on my arms or anywhere else but my face. Yeah, so, but I've shot a lot of animals because they were invading the farm. I didn't go hunting in my life. One thing I always never did is I never went hunting. Of the probably couple hundred animals I actually shot, they were all invaders on the farm. And the first thing I ever shot was see, that's a whole story too, is the farm also raised animals for birding, for like the trials when people go out and they shoot animals. You know, they go out and they have the dogs run out and they flush the animals and you shoot them. And the farm's animals would periodically get out into the different fields. And I went out once, and the first thing I ever shot was a ruffled grouse that they had raised. They weren't local to the area, but it's one that had been raised there and got out there. And what's really crazy, and something that people don't realize, is when you're young, especially 50 years ago, when this was happening to me, is that when you shoot your first animal, and it's funny, it was very exciting. It was so exciting to me at the time. And I never took my kids hunting one time. My sons have never been hunting, and I never really talked with it about them. And but I did it all the time because I was on a farm. We had to protect the farm from all the wild animals they had, and out in the wilderness of Maine, there were tons of them. Hey, everybody. But one of the things is, yeah, people always said something. So when I shot that bear and I skinned that bear, the one that was breaking into my grandmother's cabin, and I literally ate the bear's heart as part of a ceremony with those Indians. And I didn't eat any more of the bear. They didn't save the bear meat because a lot of bears were infected with something called trichinosis. And even when I ate its heart, they fried it in bacon fat. So it was really overcooked to make sure it killed anything that was in it. And so it was literally that fall when I was 12 years old that my beard started growing. So when I was 12 is when I got my mustache and beard. Not this big, but I started growing a beard and mustache at 12 years old. That's like in 5th grade, you know. And it was like something to see it. And when I turned 13, I was in junior high school, and my beard was as big or bigger than it is right now. When I went back to junior high school, I looked just like this. It was a little longer, about this big. Just this full, same color, same everything. And it was something. But when I started growing the beard, all my Indian relatives says, because of the bear, you have the spirit of the bear in you. It's a bear spirit in you. And then I have the wolf spirit in me. And now, of course, there's so much documented pictures of what I look like and me as a child. Now I got this documentary company that's like thirsting to make a movie, like a made-for-TV movie or documentary about me. They said, you can make a whole series about you. I'm like, geez, I don't know if I want to be known as Bear Wolf Man. What was that thing they had on South Park? Remember on South Park, they had something like some wild animal there, like Bear Wolf Man or something. It was like a South Park thing on one of their episodes. It was like a Yeti thing or a Bigfoot thing. Man Bear Wolf, yeah. So yeah, so when I actually killed that wolf with my bare hands, they actually in this ceremony, when they put the big, the blood thing on me, they put blood on you, by the way. When you're a hunter, whoops, hold on. When you hunt and you're a child, the first thing they do, a man, bear, pig, is they literally dip their handkerchief in the blood of the animal that you shot, like the first one you shoot, and they wipe it all over your face. It's called blooding. Look online and look at the keyword blooding, hunting, blooding kids. It's so common. It is so common. And I realized it was happening, and they did that for me a lot, especially on very special big animal things. But they believed that I saved that kid from the wolf because I had the spirit of the bear, and that the instinct of me with the spirit of the bear is what saved this kid and what made me beat this wolf to death. And but I have the spirit of the wolf too, supposedly as part of this ceremony. So look, so what you haven't known is I'm not just Mike Mozart. I'm Mike Mozart, Wolf Man and Bear Man. I don't know, in this day and age, that means something else to be a bear man, which I sort of fit, I guess, the mode, but I'm not in real life. But it's so funny to think now what I am. And it's just crazy because that farm and where that all happened was near Palmyra, Maine, where supposedly there are skinwalking werewolves around there. Werebear Mosey, Werewolf Mosey. Oh my God, it's so nice to see everybody here again. So I'm just running this by you because they filmed a whole bunch of stuff with my relatives in Maine. They have photographs from the family in Maine. And they said that they want to do a documentary. And if they don't do the documentary on it, it's going to get out anyway. I may as well, do that stuff. Wait, somebody's had the same experience. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, look, it's 9 years old. Somebody said I killed a bear. My dad did that to me, putting the blood on my face. Yeah, that's something they did. They did it. And that happened with more than one animal. The first bird I shot, which was a ruffled grouse, but I shot a lot of other birds. But instead of, they didn't took the blood, what they did is they would make you go over and pull a feather, like a little feather about that big out of it. And I had these hunting hats, and you put it in your hat. Save a feather. And I still have that bird. I still have that bird stuffed and mounted. Isn't that something? I still have that first bird. And, ever hear that expression, that's a feather in your cap? If you shot and killed those bears, the birds, you'd save a feather. And do I still have the toys? I have all the toys. This building's an old warehouse I'm in. I'm restoring it as my art studio, but I can't broadcast from where I really wanted to broadcast because the signal isn't good for the Wi-Fi. YouTube's taking a lot of Wi-Fi signal. So I do these paintings. Go to my Instagram. I'm Mike Mozart on Instagram. Definitely follow me there and look back on my Instagram. I've been there continually for the past decade. There's somebody else had the same experience too. You had to taste some blood. So somebody else had the same thing. It was something that they did. And the first time I shot a deer was in a big vegetable garden. And that first deer, they did the blooding thing like this, where they took a handkerchief and did this and made me taste it. They didn't make me taste it it's Richie Rich golfing. See? I am probably better known or best known as I am the Frankenstein's monster that created the monster of Alec Monopoly, who was famous for doing Richie Rich and characters like Scrooge McDuck. I'm the one that was his mentor and got him famous and going. If you've ever heard of him. But should we rate you 5 stars on Instagram? They don't have ratings on Instagram. I guess YouTube doesn't have them anymore either. I'm trying to see all these things. I try to help other artists too. You'll find out. I'm having such a good time looking at all these messages here from all these fans who just watch my live shows. I really think this is so cool. Yeah. So so there's a lot of stories to tell. I'm going to make videos about them to make sure everyone knows very clearly what they are, because I don't want anyone to think badly of me. Now, that's not a bad thing. It's mostly, I know. It's my voice. I lost a lot of weight. It's really hard to see here. Guys, I'm right now about 160, Can you see? It's hard to see, I guess. I'm about 160 pounds. When I was on YouTube Live and all that, I was 240 pounds or more. My early YouTube videos in like 2007, 2008, I'm over 300 pounds. I was a big guy. And I lost a lot of weight. But when I did, my original voice started coming back, which is very deep. Yeah, I'm a lot better than I was. I know you never think badly of me, but I never mentioned ever that I had hunted when I was a kid. And it was with my family in Maine on a farm. We never left the farm. All that hunting was done on the farm, and it was mostly animals that were invaders. A lot of coyotes that were coming to like get at the chicken coop, because we had a lot of chickens there. We had a lot of ducks. I shot another wolf. I actually killed 2 wolves in my life, and one was another wolf that was going after the ducks. We had a duck pen where the ducks were kept at night. And I went out at night when I was about 14 and shot that wolf. And I have that wolf skin too. And wolves are scary compared to most other animals because they will attack you. Things like coyotes and bears generally don't. They sort of run away. If they see you, they run. Yeah, the animal control was different. In Maine in 1960, there wasn't quite animal control back then. Your animal control was a gun if you had a farm. And that's how you controlled the animals. And there were so many deer, there's so many elk, so many everything there, and that's what you did at the time. You shot them and ate them or sold the fur skin. I shot so many rabbits. I'm like Mike Mozart, rabbit killer, for $1 a piece. They were $1 a piece at the local tannery. I would buy them. They would tan them and sell the skins. And we had a lot of rabbits up there. There were lots of rabbits. They were everywhere. A farm with all kinds of gardens. Yeah, there were a lot of rabbits up there. A lot of rabbits, a lot of coyotes. You'd be surprised how many coyotes there were. A lot of the stuff, after you skin these things, a lot of those, the remains would be dumped in a pit. They would have a pit there because a working farm had when you're raising, 1,100 chickens, that you actually sell the chickens, there's an awful lot of butchering of chickens and stuff in parts. And they usually had a big backhoe, and they would dig a big pit for certain times around the farm. It has 400 acres. I mean, it's terrible to talk about now, but it's what it was. It's absolutely what it was. I would say one of the things that I did as a kid that was very exciting when I was fishing. We would go for smelts. Smelts are these little fish that would come in. And they never came in at the time I was up there normally, but we go out of my way so I could go up and fish smelts. And we caught them in nets and streams. They would be coming. It's hard to explain. There were these little silvery fish. I really like smelts. And we went crabbing, catching crabs and catching clams, clam digging with these little. I have my little clam rake thing right out here. The one of them I actually used. It's so funny. Yeah, so I was there on a real working farm with farm animals that were raised for meat, for chickens that were raised for eggs and things, and it was really something. Classic old hat. I got a whole bunch of those old hats. I actually pulled some of them out. Hold on a second. I have 3 of them. This signal might die when I walk up there. I'm gonna walk up to. Oh, look at this! Look! That's Sadie. That's Haley, and that's Big Boy Mungo. He's a big dog. It's hard to tell how big that dog is. This dog's about 130 pounds. He's a big black lab. Big paws, a big dog. This is an art studio, and I rented this to do paintings and stuff in, but the signal doesn't quite reach the studio up there. I'm gonna try. It's probably gonna die. Look, there go the dogs. But I will try to tell you guys some more about what's happened. And I have to figure out what to do about this whole documentary thing because it's taken on a life of its own. Probably another reason I'm talking to people is, what should I do? I just don't know what to do. If I should let them do a documentary on that part of my life because it's so interesting. It's such an interesting part, and I really enjoyed it. But I've sort of avoided it as an adult just because I don't want people to remember me as Mike Mozart, Skinwalker, animal killer when I was a kid. And I would rather be known as Mike Mozart, the artist, the great artist, toy designer, and toy reviewer. This is outside. There's a giant bridge out here. Hold on. There's a big bridge. You can't see it. It's a big suspension bridge, like the Brooklyn Bridge is right here. It's just hard to see at night. They don't light it up at night. And there are the dogs right here. It's huge. This bridge goes right over the building I'm in. Yeah. Thank you so much for liking the content. A lot of people haven't heard the stories that were going on here, but that's why I have to make videos. If I make videos, it's a lot better and a lot more interesting for people to understand what happened. And I really want to do it. But it doesn't seem like anyone's appalled out there, but wow. It's not me malice. It was the things that are the most interesting is both of them were because of attacks, animals attacking, not because I was out shooting them for sport. Actually, I never shot anything for sport. Wait, I'm looking for a dog's missing. Probably pooping out here. That'd be one. Yeah, I never shot any animal for sport. I never went like hunting. I never went duck hunting or anything. And it was a farm that raised ducks. We didn't have to go hunting for duck. We raised ducks there so we had roast duck all the time. Come on. So just let the dogs in there, let them outside. So we never had to go hunting for duck or hunting for anything, but man, it was a different time. It was a totally different time. I mean, 50 years ago was a long time ago. 50 years ago, duck is like the most delicious thing on earth too. Oh my God, I love eating duck. Duck is like one of my favorites ever. It is so delicious. And I love it with an orange sauce on it. And it was funny to actually, what's crazy is it's hard to imagine being on a farm. If you've never been on a farm and growing up with it and accepting it when you're 5, 6, 7 years old, and your great aunt and great uncle are like, Mike says, we're thinking about having duck tonight. You want to go pick out a couple ducks and butcher them and bring them in? Yeah, that's great. I'll go. And you go to a pen full of ducks and you pick out like a big fat one. And it's like nothing. You don't even think about it. When you're like 9 years old, it's like exciting. It's like, wow, I feel like I'm the man. I'm the big farm hand. I'm going to be the farmer someday. And it's like, oh, you're getting married. Oh, congratulations. Oh, yeah, the McDonald's hamburger maker videos. I love making those things. Congratulations on getting married, Barbara, versus the world. Yeah, it was just a different time. And I'm just it was one of the reasons, I talked about toys and everything earlier. The only reason I'm mentioning this is a big documentary is being made on me. And the people doing the documentary want the documentary to be all about my life before I was 15 or so. Because they found out just all the cool stuff I did, that they think is like amazingly cool. I've been debating whether or not to allow it, but I guess it's okay. I mean, nobody seems to be taken aback. Oh, the Tom and Chew. I still have the original Tom and Chew Diner I reviewed. I love that toy. I still have the Want to Bite Your Finger. I wish anything I could get this thing to work up there. I wonder if I switch it to my phone. If I turn off Wi-Fi, the show will just pick up. This may go dead. If it goes dead, I'm not going to turn back on tonight, but I Want to Bite Your Finger and all those toys right up here. My actual studio where I do the painting is so amazing. I'll show you, but the Wi-Fi doesn't work good there, and we have terrible phone service here. It's called Studio 24K. It has a big ramp going up to it. This is an old factory from 1850. And with the door set, it says Studio 24K based on Studio 54. This is probably going to die in a minute because the signal up here is bad for the Wi-Fi.
Oh, you want to close this so you can
But
see
there's Mikey working up here, barely working.
You still on it?
Yeah, I'm still on here. And here is, this is what the studio looks like. I guess you can still hear me. Here you go. Paintings I have in production here. Here's an Uncle Scrooge McDuck painting. This could go dead in a minute. Yeah, Scringy's here. Because we're working on different murals. We're trying to fix up this building. This is an old post and beam structure. This is like the barns in Maine when I was up there on the farm. The barns were built like this, 1850s. That's the painting that's behind all my old YouTube videos from 2005 to 2008. It's on a sofa behind me. And over here, if this doesn't go dead, that clock used to be on the wall behind me in my YouTube videos. But back here, if this still keeps going, is a bunch of my toys. I have most of the toys I reviewed. Like there's the knockoff Cars Mater that I did. Here is that Brain Buster Shrek toy. Here is the Acrobats Crocodile Dentist, the McDonald's Cookie Maker, which I don't think I reviewed yet. You know, all these games are all here. I have them all. I Want to Bite Your Finger is here too. Just in this pile, because I just saw here, the Cut Your Cheese game. A whole bunch I just never reviewed that I want to. And I left them out here to review. We get the idea. I've got everything. I got tons of stuff I've never reviewed that I've wanted to. And now it looks like I'm going to get around to doing it finally, so you guys get to see some of this stuff. Oh, if you guys, anybody out there that does arts and crafts, here's Sculpey. Sculpey still exists. This is the first time Sculpey ever got released. This is the original plastic. And I bought this when it first came out because I was using this product when it was a brand new product that just got released, probably around 1977. And my sculptures, I'm a sculptor, which people don't really remember or know about because I didn't think much of it. Being a professional product designer for years, I didn't think much about the importance of what I was doing, because these days, if you make a toy, this is a new toy, it's not mine. But somebody, before they had computers, this had to be hand sculpted and make the mold from the sculpture. These are sculptures of toys I made. I sculpted these. This is Duck Dodgers from the 24th and a half century for a lamp that I did. Here is Tasmanian Devil sculptures I did. Some of the pieces are missing. These were actually reproduced to make toys for the Warner stores. And I had to do the original sculptures at the time. I got tons of these sculptures sitting up here. Marvin the Martian's there. I gave away a bunch of this stuff. I had a Bugs Bunny one sitting here for a while. They turn up as I'm going through stuff. Yeah. So I was an actual sculptor. Still am a sculptor. And there's one of the doggies. But this is a big building. I'll go around here. As long as the signal holds up, I will, except I substituted in Mr. Monopoly, Betty Boop, myself drawing them, and Richie Rich. And I lost so much weight in the course of starting this, I actually made myself thinner and changed my shape to be more what I am right now. And this is a painting I did. There's a gentleman that was Picasso's assistant, and I'm finishing his paintings for him. He's in his 90s now, and I'm finishing paintings he can't finish. So there's a whole bunch of those in here in the studio. These are paintings I do, like my warm-up paintings, where I will just do paintings quickly if I'm starting a day off, because I like to sort of warm up. Here's a painting in production I'm finishing tonight, which I would have finished if I didn't go live. The signal's staying up. I do a lot of Mr. Monopoly because I actually did Mr. Monopoly for McDonald's, one of the Monopoly promotions, and I did them for Hasbro. And I started an artist named Alec Monopoly off, which is something. Do I still have my Crayola Tonka truck? I don't have that anymore. I gave that away to somebody. When I moved, I couldn't keep everything because it was just so much stuff to keep. Here's a Mr. Monopoly. This canvas is cut out. Look, it's a big cutout canvas. See, I'm working on finishing that. That's big. It's 4 feet tall. It's just this easel. And this is a painting I'm sending out. We actually lost power for part of the day. And these ceilings are quite tall. They're about 20 feet tall, so I'm covering them in paintings, all these walls. There's a lot of stuff. This goes on and on. So this is the lower area down there. This is the upper area. And it's a studio that people can visit. And this is a big area back here. A little bit of most of these are paintings in production. Sorry, it's going down a little bit. It keeps coming back up. Let me turn this around so I can say bye to everybody. Yeah, it's a big place. It's a big place, and let's see if I can get in a place where maybe I should have combed myself out a little bit. So if you were here earlier, at least you got some interesting. I know I'll get the Wi-Fi repeaters. Yeah, I know I can get those things. I didn't think I'd be broadcasting live and need them like I am, but you're going to be kind of surprised. Look at all the people stopping by that I haven't seen in so long. Regular network extender. Yeah, I will get one of those. Absolutely. Well, thanks. I don't look bad. My beard's growing out a little bit right now. My beard grows fast. Something else people don't get is I used to do live shows, and I shaved off my beard once to show people how fast it grows. My beard grows from, if I shave off all my beard and mustache completely, I mean, absolutely completely shave off all my beard and mustache, and let it grow back, it takes 6 weeks for it to get looking like this again. I have to shave and trim it every single day, or I look like a Wolfman, I guess. I stopped shaving my cheeks. I've decided to let it grow up so people can at least see it. Especially since the show is interested in it. That documentary, if I let them do that. Is they're very interested how my beard grows up all the way to here. My face grows completely covered in hair. My face grows completely solid hair, almost completely. Like, you ever see those pictures online of people like the wolf people of Azerbaijan or something? And I've had pictures of it online. My face grows in solid hair, just about solid. Funny to think about. And it's been like that since I was 13. I just shave it back so it doesn't show. Yeah, hi. I'm looking at the people talking. It's so nice to see all the chat going by. It's hard to read those. So many of them by. Yeah, hi, it's Rob here. Hi, it's Rob here. Hi, Night Streak. Barbara versus the world again. Let's look at all the messages here. Errol Liger's here. Roshi Watches is here. Oh, and you're gonna find a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm gonna try to get some of my. Do I still have the tabloid? I do. I have all the tabloids, except ones I've used in my artwork. I've actually made artwork out of them, which is kind of fun. Do I have a baby face once I shave off my beard? Not really. I have a very slab angular face. My jaw is very long and square. I have a very square face looking. But when I put on weight, my face was very round, sort of jolly, big and round. And I decided if I go back on live, I put on a little bit of weight on purpose. I'm about 165 now, so I put on like 25 pounds. So I look like myself. But I'm also growing my beard out again. And I'm trying to grow it on the sides like this. Because I don't look like Mike Mozart. Well, except I got to brush this out. Sorry, I've been futzing with it. I should have fixed it for mine. But I think I sort of look like Mike Mozart more. But if I didn't, my face is very narrow. I have very high cheekbones. I have a lot of American Indian ancestry and Norwegian ancestry, and it really shows now that I'm thin again. Very high cheekbones, very narrow face, very angular, big, huge, angular jaw. I grow a very huge mustache, which isn't really shown here, but if I let my mustache grow out, my mustache gets like cartoony huge. I look like a cartoon character. Ashens, yes, Mystery Guitar Man. Yeah, I've talked to Ashens quite a few times. I meant to send him some toys too. I look like Mike Mozart now. Okay, but literally 6 months ago, I didn't look much like him, I don't think. And that's why I've also gotten bigger glasses. I usually wear wireframe glasses. You know what I mean? See, I don't look like Mike Mozart, but if I put these glasses on, it makes my face look bigger. These old, thick glasses. I went through a whole bunch of my old glasses. I have a huge collection of all the old eyeglasses I had as a kid. I decided, and my prescription hasn't changed much, so I thought that these made me sort of look more like Mike Mozart without being huge again. Yeah, I'm returning to YouTube right now. Look at this, I'm back. I want to be up here almost all the time. Look like a lumberjack without the glasses. Yeah, I'm a very... See what I mean? Do you think I look like Mike Mozart? I have some bug bites here because a lot of mosquitoes around here this year with all the water. I just don't look like Mike Mozart. With the wireframe glasses, I think it's worse. The ones I used to wear because it makes my face look. My face looks more. I don't know. A lot of people when I was when I was about 25 pounds lighter than this, no one recognized me. Friends I knew for 30 years didn't recognize me on the street anymore. Well, it was during the pandemic and no one could go out, so they didn't see me during the course of losing weight. I look like, oh my God, I grew up, my beard, guys, my beard grows out like Hagrid's. I grow this big, giant Hagrid beard, and it grows so fast. When I say fast, I could grow out that big, giant Hagrid thing in about 3 months. And it looks just like Hagrid's. I think mine looks better than Hagrid's. It's a lot smoother looking. And mine's real. It is fake. Mine is a real one. So funny. Oh, how wonderful. Hi, Frank. My son Frank, Diane Orhek. Hey, Jesse Renfro's here. I'm looking at some of the names. More4. Oh, hi, More4. One of my longtime fans. Radio Guy. Oh, my God. It's so funny to see all these names that I used to know for years. ZDG Creations. Art of Goddess. Yeah. It's so funny. Just such a trip for me. Such a nice, exciting time to do this again. I plan to be doing it a lot, so I think you're going to have a good time watching. It's been a terrible year. It's been a terrible move here. Been a terrible amount of work. The roof is leaking right now because we had terrible amounts of rain. But it's been fun, and I want to start. Do I still have the magazines? Yes, I do have all the Mad magazines. I have all my catalogs for the most part. Yeah, so I see all the names again. But I gotta get going. Excuse me. But I would say the only thing is that I'm going to be back. I'm going to make videos explaining a lot of this, and if the documentary goes through, it's going to be really something. Because people are going to start thinking that they're going to start saying, "Oh, Mike Mozart has a lot more going for him than just doing funny toy reviews on YouTube." I did everything. And if you weren't here earlier, these are my products. I designed tons of products. And a lot of these will probably be seen or had by people here. I'm one that the little watercolor sponges that painted animals and rainbows. I sold those on QVC Home Shopping Network and infomercials personally myself. And this is the Bendaroos. Benda what? Bendaroos, that wacky building string. That's mine too. I did so many toys. These are my creations, my designs, my everything. It's so funny. Did you ever review